From the Gettysburg Museum of History studios, high atop Baltimore Street, in a maximum security facility complete with central air, it's AG Today.
Hi, Aaron.
And Mayor from the Civil War Breakfast Club podcast.
This is Dan Casella from the No Pollution of podcast.
This is Wayne Motz from the Gettysburg Foundation.
Hi, I'm John Rothman.
Hi, this is Bo Brinkman.
Hi, this is Joseph Fuqua, and you're listening to Addressing Gettysburg. You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg with Matt Gallery.
Don't ever go on America Got Talent. You won't make it.
Did you say Abe Lincoln?
Scorpion woman!
You're listening to the Gettysburg Today.
I love this podcast.
Where did this idea come from?
Why would you want to be a cheerleader, Steve Martin?
Avril his men elegantly. Yeah, hypothesis. My truck's there sitting.
Wow.
Hello, everybody. We're back from our Christmas break,
Our hiatus.
our Christmas hiatus, and we, I don't know about you, but I got nothing done that I wanted to do.
Oh, hell no. Not even, my looks like a bomb went off.
Really?
A literal bomb.
Well, mine doesn't look that bad. It's other things. I didn't get anything done with the show. I was so looking forward to catching up on, bookkeeping, clerical stuff, and editing things.
All the things you told me you would do.
Yeah, I got none of it done. I didn't get your historic news thing. Well, first of all, I don't know what I'm going to do for it yet, so the idea hasn't come to me.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two.
Well, that's okay. There's no historic news today.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Because I don't have an intro for it.
Perfect.
But until, we don't need an intro for it. Wait until, I do. We'll just keep going, and then eventually something might come of it. But anyway, I wanted so much. So this morning I came in, and I worked all morning on the new intro, a new outro. It's not much different.
Still on it.
The outro you are.
Oh, am I?
Oh, yeah. No, no, you're credited now.
No. I mean, like something I said and messed up.
Well, so there was something during our practice episode that we did like last week or the week before, whenever that was. Remember when we all came in? And you said something, and then it was like, oh, that's going to be on the board. And I can't remember what it is you said, and I tried to look for it very quickly. I'm going to find it.
No, you're not.
Yes,
I am so good, I don't have any.
Because I'm going to take your channel, and I'm just going to put it in the editor, and just every time I see that you've spoken, I'm going to go and listen to it, and I'll find it.
No.
Yeah, I'll find it, and you will be on the board. It's something like Bethany don't want to put up with this S or something. Wasn't it?
I don't know.
Do you remember what it was, Debbie? Or anybody back there?
I think you're on the right track.
Yeah.
I don't remember even saying it.
I remember saying that it would be on the board. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
It's because it never happened.
And you keep telling yourself that. I promise. I'm not even necessarily rooting for him, but he will find it.
Thank you. Wasn't it right before you left, Colby? It was towards the end,
yeah,
wasn't it?
because I was here for it.
Yeah.
Colby, I thought you were on my side.
I just said I'm not rooting for him, but I'm pretty sure he's going to find it.
I'll find it.
It's
when
like,
I have the time.
It's like trying to hide peanut butter from a dog. You can't do it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. What? Where are you hiding peanut butter from your dog, Colby?
Come here, Skippy. Come here.
All right. Enough. Come here, Skippy. So, yeah, I got nothing done. However, let's see, I got a new camera I got that back in November. I got that for the winter lectures.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been vomiting blood ever since then. Because, I don't like spending large chunks of money, especially in this day and age. And so it
hurts.
Matt, we're getting a big lag on her camera.
A big lag on her camera.
Keeps sticking. Yours isn't, but hers is.
Well, that's the most important thing. Let me see. Go to her camera.
No, to see me anyway.
Oh, lag is fixed.
Oh, that must have been just some weird little thing.
Yeah,
Let me know if it happens again.
All right, deal.
Now, can you also tell somebody if the sound skips every time he changes the channel? Let
us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us
guys.
know in the comments there, or somebody in the room or whatever. But anyway, okay. So I got that. We had our Christmas party on the 9th of December, which was really nice.
It was nice.
We had like 80 some odd people there or something like that.
It seemed like more.
Did it? I can't. No. Well, there were 80 something that were signed up. And I think there were a few that didn't come. Like Pete Carmichael was supposed to come. And he didn't come. And I took a picture of the room, and I sent him a text. I sent it to him.
And you said, "Where are you in this picture?"
I said lots of disappointed people asking where Scarves Carmichael is. And so he wrote back something about, I had to take my car to Frederick, F this, and I go, because I should look it up. I don't have it. I didn't plan on talking about it. But anyway, it was like I had to take my car to Frederick. It was in bad shape or something like that. And, I'm like, why do you have to take your car to Frederick at like 8 o'clock on a Saturday night?
He forgot.
Well, wait. So then I wrote, what, did you get in an accident? Well, he doesn't answer me back till the next day. And the next day he says, cat, my effing cat. I had to take my cat to Frederick. And what happened was...
That's even weirder.
So it was funny because, I don't know, a few days later he called while Cindy and I were driving to West Virginia to get her daughter. And he called, so I put the phone on, and he said, just calling to wish us a Merry Christmas, and, very nice call, actually, and explain that whole thing. And what had happened was, he should tell the story, but his daughter's into horses. And the horse that she goes and rides croaked. And I guess like a horse thing is, he'll give you a little bit of the horse's tail or mane or something like that. So she had, this, I guess, braided piece of horse tail.
And the cat ate it?
And the cat ate it, and it obstructed the cat's bowels, and they had to have surgery on the cat and everything. So the cat survived, but Pete had to miss the
Christmas
party. And he was disappointed, and he was very apologetic because he wanted to come and do that. But we had a great time. Jamie won the I was going to say wet t-shirt contest. No, it's the ugly sweater contest,
and she deserved it.
The wet t-shirt contest we have in June. And it was a great.
Oh my God!
I mean, she really.
It was creepy.
There were a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
And I forgot to bring it in. Eric Houston had a really good one with My Glorious Face all over it.
And he gave it to you.
And he gave it to me. So that's why I have it at home.
Because I saw him later without the shirt on.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it's like, why are you shirtless?
Yeah.
You didn't bring another one to change into, Eric? So he had that. But Jamie, and there were a couple of other people that really put a lot of effort. Pat Rich had a good one. But Jamie won. She won the Scott Hartwig books. And signed. That's true. And Scott was nice enough to drop those off for us. And then he had something else to do that night. But otherwise, I think he would have come because I invited him and all that jazz. So then, let's see. So then after the party, this is when everything goes on. So I'm looking forward down 3 weeks where I have no scheduled anything. Okay?
Yeah.
Except for Christmas.
Yeah.
So I'm going to really I'm going to relax and I'm going to work at a leisurely pace and catch up on things.
Yeah, you never plan that.
Right. The best laid plans of mice and men, right? So, what was it? Since the day after the party is when your grandma died? Yeah. Her grandmother dies the day after the party. Cindy's birthday is the day after that. And then we get like a little bit of a day off, but not really where it's appropriate to do any work or anything. I don't remember what we did. Probably got ready for the next 3 days, which was Wednesday, go get Paige at West Virginia and drive back. So 6 hours in the car there. Thursday, go up to Wilkes-Barre for the viewing.
The funeral.
Friday, get up in Wilkes-Barre and do the funeral, then the repast, and then we have to get Paige's car. She's got a used car from a dealership up there that Cindy's father found. So, there's like 60 hours of paperwork and all that crap,
You
right?
missed one of the things you did.
What?
You crashed the Gettysburg Foundation Christmas party.
Well, was that before?
That was Tuesday.
That was Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I did on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I turn around and there's Matt. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, well, the funny thing was, like, well, Matt Atkinson dragged me in, and the funny thing about it, though, was that, like, it was, it's in the cafeteria there, and it's a loud, echoey... The saloon, excuse me. It's a loud, echoey room. Yeah, right?
Horrible acoustics.
Terrible acoustics. And so you're in there, and it's like... You go in and you hear, I don't have any Christmas music, but we'll just play, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Let's just say this one here, right? We'll do this here. This is what it's like. So we got music going, right? Right. And then there's the murmur of the crowd, which I don't have anything for that. And then there's you. Excuse me, everybody. Can I get your attention? Please. And then, but the music's still playing.
Attention, if you look over there to the right, we're still voting on who has the best office beer. So make sure you vote on that. And over there on the left, we're voting on whoever gets done. So have a great time.
In my defense,
yeah,
you just said exactly what I said, so you obviously heard it.
Yeah, I heard it because I hear. This is the irony of my bad hearing. I was literally on the other side of the room from you. I could hear on the other side of the room better than right in front of me.
Yeah.
And right in front of me, I was talking to Wayne, and Wayne is loud.
Yeah.
And I still could hear you better than I could hear him there. That's how old man hearing I have.
I'm on the fun committee at work.
What that is? Okay.
And so the fun committee puts on the Christmas party and all the other shindigs. And because I'm annoying and loud, they're like, Bethany, can you do all the announcements? And I've done that every year.
You did a great job at it. I'm just saying, it was just funny to me that, if someone didn't have the eagle-eyed hearing that I have across the room, then they wouldn't have heard you.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Sherry Grimm is there.
Who?
Our HR director, and she's the head of the fun committee, and she's trying to talk to everybody.
But she's too quiet.
She's, and I'm just like, right, and everybody immediately quiet.
Well, okay. So anyway, so we have all that stuff. I don't remember what we did for the weekend after that, but there was like 2 days that I came in here and tried to work, and like sat and stared at the computer for 2 hours on this one day, and did nothing. I literally just stared at nothing. And I just could not get started on anything. And I said, maybe this is my brain saying you need to take a break, right?
Yeah.
You just like, whether you want to or not,
around.
you need to just do. So I went home. It was like 1:00. I went home, laid down, and I woke up at like 4 or 5 or something. So I definitely needed sleep.
Yeah.
And I went to sleep. I had no problem going to sleep that night either. So I was tired, right? But here's the good thing that came out of all that. I read Treasure Island, the book. Obviously. Have you ever read it?
Yeah.
Colby, have you ever read it?
I have not.
It is, have you ever seen any of the Treasure Island movies?
Yeah.
Which one?
I couldn't tell you. Man, I haven't seen them since I was
The
a kid.
Muppets.
I have seen the Muppets one.
The Muppets version.
I've seen
where
other.
Everybody starts with classic literature.
I've seen other ones besides that, but it's been since I was a kid, man. Since I've,
Yeah, the first one I saw was made in 1934 with Jackie Cooper, Wallace Beery, and Lionel Barrymore.
I believe that's the one
Lionel
I
Barrymore.
Really, black and white, and like Jim Hawkins is this whiny little sniveling snot nose. Yeah. And in spite of Jackie Cooper's performance as Jim Hawkins, I think it's the best one.
I've not seen that one.
Oh, it's great. I love it. But I also wonder if it's because it's the first one I saw as a little kid. And my dad, I was sick one day, and my dad stopped at the video store on the way home and brought home Treasure Island, which is what he used to like as a kid. Just passing it along. And I loved it. I still do. I watched it on Amazon
hits
Prime
people where
twice.
they live. It really does for some reason.
Treasure Island or...
No, Treasure Island.
It
the
is
story.
just-
people still talk about it.
Yeah, it's a great adventure. You know, but I have this little antique. It was a school book from 1918, and it was put together by a principal of some school in Philadelphia. And he has an introduction as to why it's such a great thing for young people to read. And
cool.
And then there's questions in the back and everything like that. But it was really nice to read, and it was the first book I've finished from cover to cover in years. Yeah, years. I have not been able to read a book in years. I think it's time. And also, can you develop ADD late in life, or am I just coming to grips with the fact that I might have had it all along?
I think you're coming to grips with it.
Yeah, I might have had it all along. I don't know. I think there's a couple of other things I might have had
I'm not a
along that I
doctor,
slipped through the cracks.
Nor do I play one on TV. But I think that that's something you always have. I think.
I mean, thank God when I was a kid, they didn't know about it, and they weren't drugging me up like they do to the kids today.
They called you creative.
No, they called me lazy.
Well, you were very creative.
Yes, but they called me lazy because...
And I was the kid beating on my desk, like playing the drums the entire class.
No, I did that too with the pencils.
Getting sent to the principal's office. I wouldn't even know I was doing it.
When I was teaching...
I was writing song parodies.
That was the kid that I was like...
Whole songs.
Death.
Which?
The beating on the desk. Because I have a thing about repetitive sounds. And I can go for a really long period of time, and then all of a sudden I'm like, and whoever is doing that, you need to stop right now.
But repetitive sounds are really good repetitive sounds, and they're in rhythm.
Right. If there's rhythm, I don't mind it. If it's a good rhythm, but if it's just like ding dong, ding dong, dong, no, that's annoying. I can't say
it. Can't be Yoko and John trying to make some crazy noise in the studio, you know.
Chuck Berry.
Yeah, can't be Yoko with Chuck Berry on a bongo drum just screaming into a microphone. So anyway, that was one of the things and then Major was gone for all those 3 weeks too.
Yeah.
So I was like, that'll be great, because she was starting to get on my nerves. You know, well, we were having a hard, look, we weren't there long enough to properly.
Major's side.
Well, you should, but we weren't there long enough to like properly train her. And it was starting to get annoying. And I always say to Cindy, I'd be like, well, we could get rid of her, and Cindy would be like, you don't want to get rid of her. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. So, yeah, I'll get rid of her. But I realized by day 2 of her being away at the trainer that I missed her. And I couldn't wait for her to get back. Those were a tough 3 weeks. I could not wait for her to get back. And she came back.
A whole new dog?
A whole new dog. A whole new dog. That's what we had. I mean, it's night and day. Colby saw her the other day, and he came in, and she didn't jump on him.
Nope.
And he was like, "Oh my God, you're such a good dog, right, Colby?"
Oh yeah, and it's the same trainer we took our puppy to.
Yes.
And,
nice.
The trainer's great, man.
He is. He brought her over to the house, and he spent like 2 hours with us, showing us all the things that he taught her and teaching us how to do it. I forgot half of them already. How about you, Sin? Did you forget half of them? But she's very well behaved. Doesn't matter.
You should have recorded it.
What? I did.
He told you.
Oh, I did. I recorded when she came back in.
No.
Like and then he started showing me what to do. I recorded it. Oh. I'm kidding. I remember it. And so that's it. But so then she was so what? And then this week it would have been yesterday, I believe, or today. No, today. I would have had to take her in to get spayed. Mm-hmm. But the day he brought her back, she started heat.
Dun, dun,
she went into heat. Yes. Yeah. Dun dun dun. Exactly.
At least she didn't know she was there.
Puppies in heat.
Oh my God.
You should make that.
Yeah.
I feel like Taylor and I just missed it. I mean, by a hair, because we were getting nervous. We were like, dude, Macy's gonna go into heat, and this is gonna be a mess.
Oh God.
And no, but we got her in, thank God.
Puppies in heat.
Heat in heat. You gotta get
puppies in heat. Oh wait. No, it's not that good. All right, I should use a different one. Anyway, so she began that, so which means you can't spay her.
Yeah.
So which is fine, because who was it? Taylor told Cindy that you guys got your puppy spayed at the SPCA for like a fraction of what they're charging me at the vet.
Yeah, and they did a great job. They did a great job. It's the only SPCA I've heard of that got rid of. They've done this twice now. They did it right before Christmas too, but they got rid of all their all their pets that they had. Mm-hmm. They adopted them all out.
Oh, thank God.
That was going to be in the news.
I thought you were going to say.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal it from you.
Rude.
No, it's just a little
a teaser
preview. Colby, just out of curiosity, while you're back there, do puppies in heat like I did? I'm just going to see what that sounds like.
All right, I got you.
I'm
gonna play the music and everything?
No, just I want to hear the reverb on that thing.
Okay. Puppies in heat.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right, and then now tell me about Ezra's Pizza. What does he have?
My child.
He has his own pizzeria?
Yes.
Okay.
Has formed his own pizzeria. This is something he got for Christmas, was to make tents. Mark went all over the place looking for this apparatus.
Did you say to make tents?
Tents.
Like TENTS?
Yeah, like, like forts.
Okay.
Blanket forts.
All right.
And he loves making blanket forts, but of course it takes up all of my furniture.
Naturally.
So Mark was like, I'm going to get
Let's be honest, what child doesn't enjoy making blanket forts?
What adult doesn't?
That's like the coolest thing in the world.
That's what I'm saying.
So Mark got this thing online, and when it arrived, I said to him, this isn't going to work because it's a cheap piece of crap. And he said, no. I got it from a reputable place. So Ezra unwraps it, puts it up, builds a framework. I put a blanket on it, and it immediately collapses. Mark's like, the blanket was too heavy. Get a sheet. So I get the thinnest sheet that we own, and it collapses. And I'm like, this isn't working. So in consequence of Mark's failure as a parent, we built him an epic tent fort at the bottom of our bed. Like, our bed ends, there's a little bit of space, and then our dresser.
Okay.
So it encompasses that whole walkway between the bed and the dresser. And last night he decided that was going to be his pizza shop.
Oh.
So he said to me, Mom, call me and order a pizza. Now, Ezra's 3. Okay. So I call and I order a pizza, and I put like every available ingredient that I could think of, including anchovies, on my pizza. Yes. Yeah. And he goes, no. And he hangs up. And I...
He refused the order?
Yeah. And I said, excuse me.
It's a terrible businessman.
Why do I not get my pizza? And he goes, you ordered too many things and you're a grumpy customer. And so he hangs up the phone again. We're going like this.
Right.
Okay. So I called him back, do. I let it ring multiple times. And he goes, hello, grumpy customer. And I said, well, I want my money back if I'm not going to have my pizza. And he goes, no, and hangs up. Mark calls. Okay. My husband calls.
Yeah.
And he answers the phone. Hello, nice customer. What can I get for you?
Wow.
And I was like, you little piece of poo.
Yeah.
I am your mother.
Right.
I'm your mother. And now we apparently...
So that
Mark is the good customer, and I'm the bad customer.
So that's not good, though, for future Christmas presents and things for him.
I just want to point out that I'm the one that told Mark that wasn't going to work. Mark bought the crappy gift, and yet he's the good customer.
Yeah. Well, clearly it's sexism.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I bought him the Lego. Much better gift.
I think it's interesting how you say Lego and not Legos. Like, you don't pluralize your Legos.
I bought him the Lego.
Right. I bought him the Legos.
The Lego.
I bought him Lego.
Legos.
Legos. I bought him Legos.
But it's all right. I'm not trying to correct you.
Yes, you are.
But I
said, actually, if we play the tape back, Your Honor, I think I said I like the way you don't pluralize.
For those of you
Legos.
that are parents and watch
sarcastic.
Bluey, on the morning of this morning, I did not say anything bad.
What?
I said...
On the morning of this morning?
Yeah, did you ever watch Bluey?
I don't know.
I don't even know what that
Bluey
is.
No.
Oh my God. Guys, everybody that's in the chat that watches Bluey, just know that on the morning of this morning.
Is it like the dog show?
Like Blue's Clues?
No,
different.
Paw Patrol.
No.
Paw Patrol. Paw Patrol, Paw Patrol.
Get there on the double.
Yeah, I remember that and Bubble Guppies. My nephew used to watch Bubble Guppies.
See, when I was a kid, it was like Barney and what was the...
Barney, you were one of the Barney kids.
I mean, it was out when I was a kid. I was a Power Ranger kid, though, if I'm being honest. But what was the lamb chop? You remember the lamb chop?
Yeah, play along. That's older than us, though.
Sherry Lewis.
Dude, that was on TV when I was a kid. I used to watch it all the time.
I think they were reruns.
No, she was old.
She was an old lady.
She was old.
No.
Yeah.
I bet you I could almost sing that whole song still.
Lamb chops.
What was the song?
She's singing it right now.
Play along. And that's all I remember.
Do it. I have the funeral march in my ear. So what's the song?
Is it lamb chops play along where we come?
I thought it was lamb chops sing along.
How about?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Did you Colby? Were you around for the Elephant Show?
What I do remember,
no,
Sherry Lois and Bram's Elephant Show.
What I do remember from Sherry
You remember
Lewis,
that? You remember the song?
Lamb Chop was on from 92 to 97.
There you go.
Okay.
Do you remember? Wait, I'm sorry. Do you remember the song, the Elephant Show song?
Oh, good Lord.
Oh. Or at least not enough to.
You don't remember? If I started it, would you maybe?
People are shouting at their radios right now.
They're saying no.
Do you know what I do remember from Lamb Chop? This is the song that never ends. It goes on and on, my friend. Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was.
God, I remember
and
that now.
Continue singing it forever, just because this is a song that never ends.
Stop it!
Song that never ends, man. That's all that show was missing was Cam, dude.
Yeah.
110%.
I have Cam as a bleep now, so like.
When we swear, it's Cam.
Yeah, I mean it's not the it's not as so like this one is like Johnny on the spot. I press the button, it bleeps, right? So like go, right?
Whoa.
Right. Now with Cam, go, like it's not. It still bleeps you out, but it's not as precise, but it's there.
In case we need it.
In case we need it. Yeah, no, it was Skinnamarink Dinky Dink.
Oh, I know that.
Skinnamarink Doo. I love you. There you go.
This show's really devolved.
I love you in the morning and in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I love you in the evening and underneath the moon. Oh,
he's gonna isolate your vocals later and get all of this.
Now we got my kazoo and Skinnamarink Dinky Dink. I knew I'd get you. All right, so let's do. Speaking of Skinnamarink Dinky Dinkin, why don't we do this, guys, ladies and gentlemen, and stuff and so on and so forth? Is we'll come back. Guess who our guest is today, ladies and gentlemen? The man who has made this all possible. We would not be sitting here today in this room, at least, if it weren't for this fella, our next guest, the great Mr. Erik Dorr, Esquire. Squire Erik Dorr, I like to call him, because Squire Trelawney in Treasure Island. I'm in that mode. Squire Erik Dorr will be in. Squire Erik Dorr, Esquire, let's say. Well, the point is, Erik Dorr is going to be on the show this afternoon. He brought some cool Dick Winters stuff from the Gettysburg Museum of History, which I'm sure you've all been to, but if you haven't, you need to when you come to Gettysburg. And he's going to show us what he's got. So we'll be right back after these words.
Aren't you glad you used Dial? We are too. We'll be right back.
Want the freshest cup of coffee in Gettysburg? Then visit Bantam Roasters, formerly 82 Cafe at 82 Steinway Avenue. They roast all of their coffee in-house, and they have a full coffee bar to keep you caffeinated during your trip. Visit them at www.raggededgerc.com for their menu and shipping options for all of their freshly roasted coffee. Use promo code Hancock for 10% off your order in the cafe.
Enjoy historical stories on the History Fix platform. Explore movies, short films, and documentaries. Addressing Gettysburg podcast fans receive an extra $5 off the first year's annual subscription. Sign up at historyfix.com and use promo code Gettysburg. Every subscription includes a 7-day risk-free trial. Escape into history with History Fix.
This episode of Addressing Gettysburg is brought to you in part by me, audiobook narrator Mike Scott. narrator of Savis Beattie's Bloody Autumn, the Shenandoah Valley Campaign of 1864, and Unlike Anything That Ever Floated, the Monitor and Virginia and the Battle of Hampton Roads. If you are an author or publisher interested in having your titles produced as audiobooks, or even just in learning more about the process, give me a shout. You can find my contact info on my website, MikeScottVoice.com. That's MikeScottVoice.com.
The 1863 civilians of Gettysburg were reluctant witnesses to the Great Battle. Join Ken Rich, the man in the red shirt, for his historic town walking tours. You could book these tours by emailing ken@GettysburgTownHistory.com. That's ken@GettysburgTownHistory.com. And when you're in town, look for the guy in the red shirt. And Civil War Trails. It's the world's largest open-air museum, and they offer over 1,300 sites across 6 states. Drive the Gettysburg campaign turn by turn, paddle to Frederick Douglass's birthplace, or hike to remote earthworks and artillery positions. Visit civilwartrails.org to request a brochure and explore their interactive map. Follow Civil War Trails and create some history of your own.
You're listening to the Addressing Gettysburg podcast with Matt Callery.
Was that a ghost? Nah, ghosts aren't real. You're back with Addressing Gettysburg today. Now here's Matt.
Thank you. Huevos. The great Huevos Grande. So, we are back. Erik Dorr is considered a local hero, at least to me. He is. He owns the Gettysburg Museum of History, and it is one of my favorite places in the world, ladies and gentlemen. I've only got about 5 favorite places in the world, and 4 of them are here.
In Gettysburg.
In Gettysburg. Anyway, welcome to the show, Erik Dorr. Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Erik, you have so many things going on.
I know.
You don't just have the museum.
Right.
You have the museum.
I do.
You sell artifacts. You buy artifacts.
Right.
You have a tour company over in Europe.
Right.
With Matthew Leach from Band of Brothers.
Correct.
What else? What am I missing? Oh, you've got the videos with JD.
Yeah, we're doing videos with the History Underground. I have some books out. I'm working on a 3rd book.
Books. We've got Fierce Valor up there behind Bethany, and then
Hang Tough.
Hang Tough. There you go. They can't see it. And while we're I'll just raise the camera. There we go. There it is.
Okay.
And Colby, we have there's Dick Winters under pictures. You go to pictures. There's a slideshow of Dick Winters. Whenever you want to go through while we're doing this here. But yeah, so keep going. You got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. So I made some notes here, and lately I've been traveling. Also, I just got back from a trip with Andy Biggio from the Rifle Project, and you've had him on the show as well. And
sure.
I went to Belgium and Luxembourg and Germany with 4 World War II vets. I just got back a few weeks ago, and that was absolutely amazing. And that's the 2nd time I've traveled with the Rifle Project, and it's a lot of fun because on that trip I don't have to work as much. Usually when I'm doing these trips, I'm either guiding or bringing artifacts or working with JD, which is extra hard work.
Right, because he doesn't stop.
That's right. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't eat. He works from sun up to sundown.
He doesn't urinate either, I heard.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He just sweats it out. He doesn't have time.
Yeah, so when I
That
travel
would be
with the Rifle Project, it's kind of a lot more relaxing for me. I can engage with the veterans. And what Andy does is he pairs up World War II vets with modern day warriors like Afghanistan and Iraq vets, and this and actually on this trip he had a Vietnam vet with us, a guy that was in the 1st Air Cav, and he sat with me on the plane on the way home. I talked to him quite a bit, and it's a lot of fun because I can relax and I can listen. I'm not talking. And it was the first time I was ever in Bastogne during the anniversary. So they have what's called Nuts Weekend there. And they have a big celebration. It's not quite as big as the Normandy anniversary, but, they have a bunch of diplomats there and politicians.
And that's a reference to McAuliffe's response to the German commander.
Right, to the German commander, Nuts. And So it's in December every year, and I've never gone before because I like going to Bastogne when it's not really, really cold. And you know,
the soldiers would have liked that too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, these guys that we were with were all Battle of the Bulge veterans. And you know, one of them was in the Army Air Force. He was a pilot, but some of the other guys were in the foxholes. And you know, we had Bill Savage, who was in the 75th Division. Joe Picard, he was in the 552nd Field Artillery, and he fired the really big guns in World War II. They had like a 240 millimeter cannon, which was one of the biggest field guns that were used in World War II by the Americans. And then we had Ed Cottrell, who was a P-40 or P-47 pilot, and I traveled with him before with Andy. And he actually got to meet a German veteran who he was in air combat with.
Mm-hmm.
We had this meeting in Germany, and
you mean like they actually went against each other?
On the same day. I don't think they were fighting each other, but they were in the same area.
Units that were opposed.
Wow.
Yeah, and that guy was, I think he was an ME-109 pilot, but one of Ed's buddies got shot down that day, and these German historians found part of his plane and gave him, like, they put it in like a shadow box and gave it to him. It was really cool. I mean, and then we also had this guy named Ernie Moger, who was in the 76th Division. And of course, these guys were all, you know, except for the pilot, were all, you know, in the foxholes in Bastogne when it was freezing cold and everything.
Right.
So it was really amazing to be there with them. And so the way Andy does it, you know, at the events and stuff, they push them in wheelchairs, and we have a modern day warrior assigned to them. And it's just so cool. And it's so cool to see the more modern warriors interacting with these old veterans, and you know, and you had him on the show. He kind of initially started doing it for therapy purposes for some of the wounded warriors he works with, which is really cool. And Brian Johnson was with us on that trip. He was here. He was
the guy with him.
Yeah. And it was really cool. You know, and there was also a bunch of first responders with us. You know, Andy works for the Boston Police Department, and we had some Boston Fire Department guys with us, because when Andy travels with vets, you know, it's dangerous, or it can be risky traveling with World War II vets, because I mean, Ed Cottrell is 102 years old.
My gosh!
I mean, looking at him, you'd think he was.
And he went to Europe.
Yeah. All these guys were 98. You know,
it's amazing. I'm 45. I'm not willing to take that trip.
But that's why he travels with these first responders. We had full medical team with us.
Yeah.
We had a nurse and we had a paramedic, and they travel with all the stuff. Like on the plane, the one guy was getting a little short of breath. I think he was developing a little bit of a cold, and so he brings out an oxygen tank. I didn't even know you could travel with that.
Right.
I put that through because it was his carry-on.
It must be a special kind that you could take. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was gonna say, because on a plane with an oxygen tank.
Yeah, right, I know. Yeah. When that came out, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, I didn't know you could do that. But I guess they get permission, or I guess since they're real first responders, they can do that. But it was just such a great experience, and I'm pretty excited about it. And we're going to do it again in June. We're going to go to Normandy for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. So
but tell us about the tour company. Like, can people how do people go ahead and do
that's
that?
different from my tour company. Is different than Andy's rifle project, and we raise money to take the vets, and I sponsored one of the vets, and we raise money to do that, or he raises money. My tour company is just a commercial tour company, and it's We Happy Few 506, which is kind of funny because Matthew Leach, who is an actor from the series Band of Brothers, he had a company called We Happy Few 506, and we decided to combine the We Happy Few Gettysburg Museum 506 tours. So Matthew Leach did a lot of smaller tours over the last couple years, and they're like weekend tours. So it really was for Europeans. Mostly Europeans went on those tours. Guys from England, guys from France, and they would just meet up somewhere. They'd get a bus, they'd get some tour guides, and just do weekend 2-day tours. And so JD and I were invited to go on the one in last June and in Normandy, and there's a bunch of other YouTube people on that tour. Matthew calls them the YouTube monkeys because there's like this clique of YouTubers, and they all get along really well. It's great. They support each other. It's really a cool thing. It's nice to see that, unlike some of the other communities that we know about that don't support each other. It's really cool to see that. But anyway, we were on this tour, and I had toured with Matthew Leach with another museum in 2018, and so I have been on tour with him, and that was a long tour. It was a 2-week tour, and I was with Brad Freeman from Easy Company, one of the last Band of Brothers guys, and so I knew he was good on tours. Like, people really he tells stories about working with Spielbergs and Hanks and all the Band of Brothers series stuff. And, he's really good at that. And I like his energy and everything. So we're on this little 2-day tour in June. I said, do you ever think about doing longer tours? And he goes, oh, yeah, I would love to do that. He goes, I want to tap into the American market. And I said, well, I've been wanting to do it for a while. I had planned a tour in 2020 with Brad Freeman. And it was a 2-week tour. It was a Footsteps of Band of Brothers kind of tour. And I was the lead historian on it, and I partnered with another tour company, and we were getting ready to do it, and then COVID hit, and it got canceled. And then, of course, Brad Freeman from Easy Company never got to go again because his health started to fail after that, so we never made it back to Europe again. But and I really thought I would never do that again, but especially not with vets, and that's why this all ties into the Andy's rifle project, because I never thought I'd be able to experience the battlefield with World War II vets again, and Andy's rifle projects made it happen. But getting back to the We Happy Few 506 tours, we got to talking, and we thought, we could probably team up, and with his connections, my connections, we could probably plan something out, because he was already doing these smaller tours. He had a company in mind that wanted to work with him. So we just got together and made it happen. So the first tour is in May of this year. It's May 6th, and it's the Band of Brothers Legacy Tour. And call the museum if you want to check it out. We still have some seats left. We no longer have any single occupancy. It's really cool. Like, Matthew Leach's clientele are younger. Mm-hmm. They tend to be single. Mm-hmm. A lot of women. Mm-hmm. I think he's a handsome actor. Yeah,
women like history too, guys.
Right. Yeah, sure. So now wait. What's the phone number to the museum?
717-337-2035 or email info@GettysburgMuseumofHistory.com.
There you go.
There's also a website set up for We Happy Few 506. You could go directly to the website, and it is www.wehappyfew-gettysburgmuseum.tours. So check that out. It has all the places we're going. We're going to go the whole way through Europe. We're going to go to all the places that the Band of Brothers went, and we'll have some historians on there. We're going to have some step-on guides. I'll be there. Matthew will be on there. We're going to try to talk JD into jumping on for at least a weekend or so. And then after that one, we have another one planned for July. We're still in the planning phases for that. That's going to be a 7-day Normandy tour, a more in-depth tour of just Normandy. And so that will be on Bike Week.
Smart.
Yes.
Get the hell out of Dodge for that.
Do you get a discount if you're a family member of somebody who fought in Normandy?
Oh, that's a great idea.
We haven't explored that, but that's a great idea. That'd be a great promotional thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do that on the Normandy trip, because we haven't set the price or anything on that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, as somebody who that would apply to, that would be really great.
Yeah.
For those of us that are poor.
Well, it's still a pretty penny. Go ahead, Culp.
I got a question for Eric. Listening to what you the tours you did with the rifle guy. I forget you said his name, and I apologize. But
Andy Biggio.
Over on our show, that's the whole one of the big purposes behind our show is kind of connecting, the American warrior of the present and the future with those of the past. Our concept is that, the instruments of warfare have changed throughout time, but the combat experience has remained the same, and it
Right.
does a lot to making these guys that feel like they aren't connected with anything anymore. It makes them feel like they're still part of something when you can connect them with that lineage. So if there's any way, I mean, after the show maybe or whatever, if we could get together, I'd love to help out and try to raise money for that any way I can, promote it on our show.
Oh, that would be
You
great.
see how he does that, Eric?
Yeah.
See how he does that?
Yeah, that would be great.
Just poaches in the middle of the show.
I gotta drop.
No, it's important because I think some modern warriors feel like, I don't know. I'm not one, so I don't want to speak for him. But from what I've seen, they have the Rifle Project helps them realize that you can live to be 98 years old and people will still have your back.
Sure.
These World War II veterans are now all in their late 90s, pretty much, and and look at what they're doing. These World War II vets teach the younger warriors that there is life after combat.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important.
How to come back and be a part of the civilization again.
Right.
Now that you've left that very important and crucial role that has consumed you for the however long you were in.
Yeah.
Eric, say the name of the company again. People are saying you're saying it too fast.
The tour company?
Yeah.
It's We Happy Few Gettysburg Museum. Sorry. I know, it's a mouthful. My gosh, when we brainstormed on this, we were like, what are we doing
Can you
here?
come up with a name of something that isn't like a 14-word sentence?
We Happy Few Gettysburg Museum of History Tours. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
We Happy Few Gettysburg Museum of History Tours.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So now you brought some Dick Winter stuff.
Yeah, I did.
Now this is stuff that people can see, of course, behind glass
Yeah.
in the museum.
Yeah, and when Matt talked to me about doing this show today, or when was it? Right? I saw you. I forget when it was.
A couple
nights ago. Yeah, and
he's putting on gloves. That's how
yeah,
you know he's legit.
Yeah, I need to stall for a minute while I get these freaking gloves on because I don't want to get called out for holding this stuff.
Way to call attention to it, Beth.
No, I think it's great. I think it should be called attention to. I know a lot of historians that don't wear them, and they should.
Yeah, because you don't need to anymore.
Depends on what the item is.
Did you ever see Kunk on Earth? And she went through that whole thing with the gloves, and the guy, she went to put them on, and the guy was like, no. Now you don't do that.
Well, it depends on what it is.
It depends on
No,
what it
he
is.
also just washed his hands. I saw him.
So we were trying to decide what to bring on, and I brought things on before, and the thing I wanted to bring on today was Saddam Hussein's uniform, but Matthew said, "Nah, he's boring."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Okay."
Who cares about Saddam?
Yeah. So he said, "Why don't you?" He went over to the museum and he looked around and he said, "Why don't you bring something of Dick Winter?" So one of the easiest things to transport is his 1911.
Go to camera 3 there, Cole. Look at that beauty. Look at that beauty. It's
Is
pointing
the
right
lighting
at Colby
okay?
too.
Yeah.
Well, here, let me adjust the light. Okay,
So
there you
so
go.
this is his 1911. If you've read the book or seen the series, he lost his equipment on D-Day, and he had a leg bag on that got ripped from the prop blast when he jumped out of the plane. So the story is, and this is documented in his files. We have most of his stuff and the files. He got another 1911 right before D-Day, and he took that into combat with him, and that was the one that was lost. This is the one that he had with him through training, through most of his time up until that point. And once he lost that 1911, he left this one back in his footlocker back in England. And so he kind of stashed it. I think maybe he was going to mail it home because he got another one. So then he ended up using this for the rest of the war. And he actually picked up another one. It's in one of the books. I can't remember which one. He picked up another one at one point, too. But this is the one he said he used through most of the war. And it has a lot of holster wear on it, as you can see. He actually kept it in a holster, which is not good for these, but a lot of the finish is gone. It's an earlier model. And
Can we see the other side?
yeah, I just don't like it pointed at people.
Don't.
So
Bethany Duck.
yeah, so yeah, it's got a lot of wear on it, and I also brought this. This is his officer's ID card,
That's cool.
and I really love this photo.
What
of
a
him.
handsome young man.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, and it's neat because like where is it? Here, as he went up the ranks, he would cross off the rank and then write it in, and then the other side has his name and his information. Now, this was a tri-folded card, and I think part of it broke, and he had put a laminate on it at some point.
Okay.
But this is cool because he probably had this with him throughout most of his experience, including combat. I mean, officers would usually carry these in combat. Some wouldn't, but I'm sure he had it with him most of the time. And I brought this cool picture. That's him at Schoenderlach in Holland.
Very famous picture.
Very famous picture, and he does have a holster on there, and he most likely has this 1911 in it at that time.
Now, how much of winter stuff do you have? Like, because you have a whole World War II room. Well, you actually, if you count the German stuff, you've got like 2 World War II rooms, but you have a room that's like D-Day and Easy Company centric, right?
Yeah. So Major Dick Winter's items, most of them were sold before the series and the book came out. Or actually, it was after the book, but before the series. So there was a Belgian collector named Michel Dutrez who bought many of his items, and some of those items can now be seen in his museum, which is the D-Day Experience Museum in Normandy, France. And at one point, he had a second museum, so he kind of had all the Normandy stuff in one museum and a bunch of the other items in another museum, and he closed the second museum. So he sold me, for example, this jacket that he's wearing in this picture, because he was only going to, interpret the Normandy stuff. So I got all the other stuff. I got his Battle of the Bulge jacket. I got his M43 jacket, and I got some other stuff from Dutrez. And a bunch of his other items were given to another collector, including some of his medals, dog tags, and a bunch of insignia and stuff like that. So I got those items first, and then I bought some of the items from Michel Dutrez, and a couple other collectors had items. So like his stuff kind of got scattered a little bit. There is a shadow box with some of his medals at the Hershey Historical Society, too, because they have a few of his items. So
because that's the area he's from, right?
Well, that's where he retired. Yeah, he lived there later in life.
Where was he born?
He was born in just outside of Lancaster in the Ephrata area.
Okay, so basic region.
Yeah, and he went to Franklin and Marshall College, so he was basically in the Lancaster area. And then after World War II, he got a job with Lewis Nixon, one of the other guys in Band of Brothers, and he moved to New Jersey and worked for him for a while. And then he left that job in 1955, and he went to work for, I think it was DuPont.
I think that's
right. Yeah. It's been a while since I wrote the book, so it's been a while. So yeah, and when he worked for DuPont, he actually moved to Gettysburg.
Oh.
So he lived here from...
No kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. When did he live here?
All roads lead to Gettysburg.
1955 to 1960.
Is this after he went back to train troops for Korea?
What's that?
Is this after he went back to train troops for Korea?
Yes, because he was working for Nixon at that time, and then he came back to find out he didn't have a job, and I'm sure they would have given it to him, but he was kind of done with the Nixon nitration works because of some issues there. He had, Lewis Nixon was going through some personal problems at that time, and he seemed to be the guy that had to deal with it a lot because the family wasn't getting through to him. But so he went to work for another company, moved to this area. He, according to some information I have, he had an apartment briefly in Gettysburg, but then he rented a house just outside of New Oxford, so he's really Adams County.
Okay. Do you know anybody who knew him at the time?
No, but I found some newspaper articles. He actually ran for the school board. He was on the New Oxford school board. Yeah.
So so he was here. He wasn't just like a
I mean, by then he had 2 kids, so
okay.
And so he was interested in the school, and then he bought the house in Hershey, the farm, and that was the piece of land he wanted to have. They
quiet little corner of the earth.
Yeah, and he restored, or he would go back on weekends to work on the farm between 1955 and 1960. And in 1960 or 61, right around there, he moved up there for a period of time. And then he actually had a second house inside the town of Hershey as well. So he had 2 houses up there.
Oh, so he did pretty well for himself.
Yeah, I mean, once he left DuPont, he started his own company. He started working with Hershey Foods. He developed a animal feed that was made out of some of the waste products from Hershey Foods, some of the shells from the cocoa beans and stuff. See, I guess he noticed that, hogs will eat anything, and a lot of the stuff he was doing with DuPont, I think, had to do with animals and farm feeds and stuff like that. But I have one of his business cards that has his company name, and it was basically hog food, I think, and some other stuff. Yeah.
When he was here, did he try to trademark the school logo?
No.
Okay.
No,
good.
he didn't.
Good. I want to make sure about that. He was an honest man.
That's right. And but it's kind of cool that he actually lived around here, and like I know he did some events out at the Eisenhower farm when the book came out, and when the series, or before the series came out, I guess. I have a video that was shot and given to him of him speaking out there, and it's really incredible. And it must have been right after he saw Saving Private Ryan. He was invited to go see the premiere, and he was telling everybody, go see this movie, it's fantastic. So it was after the book, but before the Banter Brothers series came out. Carried an M1 Garand too, so if he got into a combat situation, I'm sure that would be what he would use. It's more of a sidearm,
right?
And he was really smart to carry an M1 Garand, because a lot of officers carried M1 carbines, and it would make you stand out. They show him in the series when they get into Eindhoven in Holland, putting his collar up, to cover his brass, and he, I was told he would put, like, on his helmet net, put stuff over his rank, because snipers were German snipers would take out officers, and field officers in the 101st Airborne didn't have a very good lifespan. I mean, the fact that he made it the whole way through is pretty amazing, especially with some of the extremely courageous things that he did.
It's a wonder as many of them made it through as they did.
Yeah.
So what do you have? Do you have anything interesting that you might have just gotten that's new that you don't have on display yet? Not necessarily in the Winter's collection.
I get stuff almost every day. Today I bought Creighton Abrams' uniform. He was the commander of the U.S. forces in Vietnam after Westmoreland.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow.
And I have his Distinguished Service Cross. He was also a tank commander in the 4th Armored Division who broke through at Bastogne, and General Patton gave him, or he got 2 Distinguished Service Crosses. He already had one, and then he got another one for that action. And he had given that Distinguished Service Cross to another museum. We have that, and we have one of his hats. But we just got his uniform today. It was offered by another collection. It was in another museum.
That's awesome.
And it's not his World War II uniform. It's a later uniform. It's a 2-star general uniform. So it's kind of like circa maybe 1960 or so. Just got that today. We don't have it in, but we made the deal today.
Right.
And we just got William Westmoreland's uniform, too, who was the commander in Vietnam. We got that about a week ago, or two weeks ago. And there was a museum out in California that's folded, unfortunately, and had been selling some stuff. So
when you buy this stuff, do you still get, like, about things? Or do you get... Or is it just like, oh, I just bought a uniform, isn't that great?
No, he does, because I see him when he takes pictures of him, and he's like, look at this, and then he gets excited about
that. I'm always excited about getting new items, and it happens so much now that it gets a little hard to keep track. That's why we need to get into the new building here.
I'm glad you said that about the new building, because someone asked about it. When are you going to have this all set up, and what do you plan to do with it?
Well, we just got word, I don't know if I should be saying this, but we just got word that our tenants found a place.
Good for them.
So they didn't give me an exact timeline. Technically, they have a lease for another year.
And that essentially, for those of you who don't know, that's what's holding up everything.
Yeah.
Is that he's honoring the lease that the previous owner has with the or had with the tenants.
I bought the building with an existing lease, which I honored because I'm not going to throw somebody out and without.
That's a dick move.
Yeah,
not
that
a Dick
is.
Winters move, but just a dick move.
Yeah. And I mean, theoretically, they could have stayed until March of 25. But they called me today and told me that they found a place, and I'm going to help them and work with them to try to make it as speedy and as painless for them as possible. So that's good news. And so it's going to be a while. When you build a new museum, it takes a while. So please, folks, be patient. I really probably shouldn't have even been talking about this too much yet, but I guess we're going to start fundraising soon, so I guess we'll have to anyway, because I bought the building, I bought the artifacts. We need some more money to do some really good displays. We want to make it, we're very inspired by the Beyond the Battle Museum. The Adams County Historical Society did such a great job. And our friends at the D-Day Experience Museum, they are very inspiring to me, the ones in Normandy, who I got some of the Dick Winters stuff from. Their museum is like top notch. I mean, it's just so good, and it's all authentic stuff too, which I love. A lot of museums in Europe, I'm not going to call anybody out, but a lot of them will be a blend of some authentic material, and then they'll have mannequins with replica stuff on, and I look at it and I just cringe.
Right.
Andy Biggio does this great imitation of me going into a European subpar museum. He does. You'll have to have him do it sometime.
Okay.
It's pretty funny.
Right.
And I look at it and I'm like, yeah, I guess I probably do that, don't I? It's like turning my nose up at stuff because I like authentic stuff, and I can see stuff that's not authentic. More than most people. I guess most people or most museums over there, they think, well, 99% of the people don't know, so who cares if it's got a replica helmet or something on a mannequin.
But but you're a museum. It's your job to make them know. Like you shouldn't, you don't count out of the lowest common denominator. You pull them up. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Your museum is very unique, and people who haven't been there or haven't been watching the videos that you have on YouTube with JD are really missing out because it's Is it kind of like the way old roadshow, before roadside, like before they had interstates, you travel along the highway in the country or whatever road, and then, you just stop into some little museum.
There's some P.T. Barnum there. I definitely like.
Is that kind of what it is?
Well, I like the shock and awe stuff, but it's real stuff.
Right.
Like a lot of those roadside things had fake stuff. They would get. They'd get some, old car from the 30s and take a Tommy gun and shoot it up and say it was Bonnie and Clyde's car when it really wasn't. Where our stuff is real.
Right.
There's a reason why they call it a tourist trap.
Yeah, yeah. But we definitely have a lot of items that maybe some museums wouldn't display. We have some very historic items that are controversial.
Right.
We have items from the Holocaust. We have Third Reich items. We have items that were owned by, like I talked about before, Saddam Hussein's uniform. But, that was brought back by an American 3rd Infantry Division soldier as a war trophy. What's that?
JFK.
Yeah, yeah.
You got like a swatch of the limousine upholstery with his blood on it.
Right.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I find it fascinating. Some people call it morbid. The JFK Library certainly wouldn't put that out.
Right.
But it's very historic, and I think it has its place. And if it's shown in a the right context, I think it's fine.
See, but that's could you say some people think it's morbid, and you're right. It is they're right. It is morbid, but I don't see that as a bad thing per se.
Right.
History is ugly. History is morbid. Human life is ugly and morbid.
Or you wouldn't have the Holocaust Museum.
You wouldn't have anything. We wouldn't be doing this show if human beings weren't miserable and, going to war with each other and everything. So I think that there is a place for that. There is a place for the morbid curiosities and everything like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But people that don't like it just don't want to admit that life is ugly. That's all. They want to live in a bubble and imagine things.
I just think there's people have to.
Oh God, here we go.
People
Eric.
have to bitch about stuff, and it's just the way it is.
That's
Haters are gonna hate, and But I just keep doing what I'm doing, and I definitely have some items on display that some museums wouldn't have on display, and it'll be interesting to see when we actually do some fundraising. Because I know I'm not going to get corporate grants from like Ford Motor Company for the JFK limousine or whatever. Because we do have controversial items.
Right.
But I think there's enough people who are interested in history for history's sake, and that we'll get small donors. We're not going to get corporate donors or anything. Maybe
but
we'll
enough
get
small donors. And you know what, Eric? When people hear that you have controversial items, right? I mean, I hear that, and the first thing I think of is, I won't say her name, but there was this girl in grammar school who was just a tattletale, like a goody two-shoes tattletale, right? And you would do the simplest infraction, and she would run up to the teacher and be like, Mrs. So-and-so, Matt did this, or Gary did that, or whatever, right? And, like, none of us could stand her. That's who I think of when I think of controversial, just people that can't stand other people being other people, and they make a big deal. And so because of that, I go, I want to support this museum. And I guarantee you there are people out there in the audience who think the same way, that are like, oh, you got controversial stuff that snowflakes want thrown away or something like that? Here's $20. Here's $100.
And I will certainly
Here's $1 million.
Yeah, Black Rifle Coffee. Where are you?
Right.
I mean, there are some companies that would definitely appreciate what we do.
And then they're the same people. They're like, and Eric is given the studio space to Matt and everything like that. That's controversial too. I'm going to become a patron of Matt's over at patreon.com/addressing Gettysburg.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
That
was a nice segue.
Eric, anything else you want to add? Give the information for the tours one more time, because I know people were interested in the comment section there, and I just want them to...
Okay, so the number is 717-337-2035, and that's the museum number. You just call the museum, and Becky or somebody will take your information, or you can just go to the website, which is, I have to look it up. It's so new that I don't even have it memorized. It's www.wehappyfew.gettysburgmuseum.tours. So just check that out.
Can you just abbreviate some things around here?
I know. But I also want to talk about, real quick, the channel, the History Underground. You can find out about us on the History Underground. My series on there is called American Artifact. We've done over 100 episodes of American Artifact, and that's where... if you're familiar with the channel, the History Underground, JD is an amazing host, and then I do a series on there called American Artifact. We just had one drop yesterday, I think it was, and we went over to Belgium and Germany, and we filmed a bunch of stuff. So we have a Battle of the Bulge series that'll be coming out. We're just finishing up, I think, the Hurricane Forest one. So I did a video about a 28th Division medic who was local here. And his family donated his stuff maybe like 10 years ago, and we brought some of his items to the area where they fought. And it's a really cool video. And we go into a German bunker that was captured by the 28th Division and repurposed as an American medical bunker, from a German to an American. It's all restored. We got unprecedented access to that bunker, and it's all restored inside by one of the associations over there. Amazing stuff. And then the Battle of the Bulge one will start coming out soon, and that ties in with the trip I did with Andy Biggio back in March with 4 other veterans. Back last March, we went with, I wrote down all their units here. Let me see. So that one had Ed Cottrell, also the P-47 pilot I talked about before. I've traveled with him twice. We had Jake Rooser, who was in the 4th Infantry Division. He was a medic, and they landed on Utah Beach, and he was amazing. He's from Philadelphia. And we had Bud Haddocky. He was a B-17 bomber, not pilot. He was a bombardier. And he was really cool. And, we did all these signings and all this stuff over there. And like, people would come up to him. He was really funny. These guys would come up, and he'd say, "Where are you from?" And they'd say, like, "Stuttgart." And he goes, I think I bombed you twice. You know, it was really cool.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then we also had Jack Moran. He was in the 87th Division, the Golden Acorns. And I'll tell you what, this guy's memory was incredible. We went to where he fought, you know, and just way out in the battlefields, and it was just so incredible. He just like, it was like he was there. You know, he was so good at telling stories. And I mean, I've been with a lot of veterans on the battlefield, but this guy, his stories were just amazing. It's like his memory was as clear as can be. And these guys are all in Andy Biggio's book, The Rifle, too. So that was incredible. But JD filmed what they were doing there. And then JD and I went back last October and filmed B-roll and drone footage and all that stuff. So that whole series is coming out. The one with Jake Rooster already came out about a week ago, about his time in the Hurricane Forest. So there'll be one episode about each of these vets. So I can't wait to see them.
That's really cool.
Pretty cool. If this is a question somebody had in the comments, they want to know if they're bringing a group of students, like 45 of them, they want to see the museum. Is it possible, or do you have to like do it in shifts or whatever?
You might want to do it in shifts because it is a small museum, and usually when we have big groups like that, they'll bring like half in and then let them go, and then another half will come in. You know, a lot of times they'll go to maybe the Shriver House or Ron Palm's
or the
Museum.
Children's Museum.
Yeah. but I mean, Ron Palm's Museum is right down the street. Right. It's like 3 doors down, and then the Shriver House is right down there. So, yeah, it's better to do a big group like that in shifts.
Yeah. Should they call to arrange, or can they just walk in?
They can just walk in, but they could call too.
Yeah.
You know,
but be smart about it. So like what he's saying is like in his like 2 blocks on the same side of the street, there's a couple museums that you can go and hit in different groups, and then just rotate people in and out. So I think that's probably the best thing to do there.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. That is about it. So why don't we do this here? Are you gonna stick around during the news? All right. So we'll stick around. We'll talk during the news. We'll take your phone calls if you have any phone calls. I saw Mitchell called in. Apparently, Santa Claus almost ruined Christmas for his children. So we'll see if that's, if he calls back, we'll see what that's all about there. Okay. Eric, thank you very much for bringing that in, and we will be right back after these words.
Want to promote your Gettysburg business? Send an email to sales@addressinggettysburg.com.
Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, Gettysburg's premier museum, is housed in the historic Lutheran Seminary building constructed in 1832, a witness to the first day of battle. The museum's 3 floors of exhibits connect visitors to the dilemmas that led to the Civil War, provide a powerful and personal view of the battle's first day, and explore one of the battlefield's largest hospitals. No visit to Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center is complete without a guided tour of the building's famous cupola, where on the eve of battle, officers and civilians saw thousands of Confederate soldiers' campfires burning to the west, and Brigadier General John Buford watched for vital federal reinforcements as fighting erupted on the morning of July 1st. Today, you can stand where Buford stood and discover how this view helped chart the course of the Battle of Gettysburg. Your trip to Gettysburg is not complete without a serious visit to Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, Gettysburg's premier museum. Purchase tickets online at seminaryridgemuseum.org or call 717-339-1300.
To get tickets or a cupola tour, listeners may call or walk in and mention Addressing Gettysburg, or by ordering online using the promo code AG1863 for 20% off.
Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center. It began here.
There's a devil to pay.
If you're a lover of history, then go to trhistorical.com. There you'll find apparel, drinkware, decor, and more featuring a wide range of interests from the ancient world to the Cold War. Looking to make an impression with the perfect gift? Well, TR Historical now offers gift cards and a vintage wrapping service for a truly unique presentation. And our listeners will receive 10% off plus free shipping in the U.S. when you use promo code GBERG1863. So go to trhistorical.com, TR Historical, for the love of history.
Think outside the bus and let family-owned Gettysburg Tours take you on a cycling journey across the picturesque and historic Gettysburg battlefield. There's no better way than by bicycle to gain a feel for the terrain of the battlefield. Slow enough to see it all, yet fast enough to do it all. Follow the route of Union troops entering the fray as you ride to the site of the first shots of this epic 3-day battle. Feel the drama as you put yourself in the position of a Confederate soldier just before he steps off to make Pickett's charge. Take a stand with the heroic Colonel Chamberlain on the slopes of Little Round Top, just before you view the fields of honor beneath you from its summit. All of our guides are officially licensed by the National Park Service. So don't get a sore neck trying to see out of your car, and saddle up with Gettysburg Tours for a 360-degree view of America's most important piece of real estate. Gettysburg Tours. Think outside the bus. Go to gettysburg.com or call 717-752-7752 to book a battlefield experience you will never forget.
You've heard us promote various ways that you can help us keep the show going, but one way we haven't pushed too much is our sutlery at addressinggettysburg.com/shop. That's a shame because we have designs over there by talented artists like Ty DeWitt of 1863 Designs and Mike Stretch of the Heritage Depot. So now we're promoting it. Buying shirts, hoodies, mugs, and other items from our sutlery not only helps us keep the lights on, but it also helps guys like Ty and Mike, and it helps spread the word about the show every time you wear an item or you sip from your mug. So head over to addressinggettysburg.com/shop and grab some merch. It's the perfect Christmas gift for the Gettys nerd in your family. That's addressinggettysburg.com/shop.
Have you noticed our revamped website at addressinggettysburg.com? Well, that's the fine work of a man named Mike Stretch, and he also redid our logo for us. Both of them I originally designed, and both of them were originally horrible, but now they're nice, and that's all thanks to Mike. Mike has an awesome t-shirt company called Heritage Depot. There you'll find great designs based on Gettysburg and the Civil War with t-shirts and other types of merchandise. So go to heritage-depot.com and spruce up your Gettys nerd wardrobe. That's heritage-depot.com. Our favorite bookstore in Gettysburg is For the Historian, located at 42 York Street. It's because they have the best selection of Civil War books in Gettysburg, both new and used. And online, they have even more to choose from. And if the Civil War isn't your thing, that's not a problem. This is For the Historian, after all. They cover history from the ancient world to the 21st century with a strong selection of World War II and American Revolution books. It's astounding how many thousands of titles from Osprey, Savas Beatty, UNC Press, and more they have in their store. And that's because, well, they have a warehouse too. And that's where they keep all the books that are available online at forthehistorian.com. And folks, if you go to forthehistorian.com now and order books until you're blue in the face, be sure you mention that you heard about them on Addressing Gettysburg in the Note to Seller box, and they will refund your shipping costs. And if you prefer to stop by when you're in town, well, you could do that too. Just mention Addressing Gettysburg at checkout, and they'll take 20% off the retail price of your item. So go to forthehistorian.com or stop by 42 York Street, or you can call them at 717-685-5207. That's forthehistorian.com or 717-685-5207.
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Seems like we haven't seen you in forever. Welcome back to Addressing Gettysburg Today. Here's Matt.
Thank you, Huevos. That's so kind of you. Oh, boy. Well, we have, see this mug I got here?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Put the Addressing Gettysburg logo on it. I don't think you're supposed to drink from it.
Why?
Well, so I really liked it, right?
Uh-huh.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to go get 3 more of these and keep one in the studio, and then I have the other 3 at home.
Yes, I remember.
And I washed them. And inside, like, the finish is chipping off.
Rude.
And it's rusty. And I'm wondering if, they're supposed to just be decorative or not. They sell them at the bookstore. That's where I got it. And so I got to go ask them if you can actually drink from them. I mean, I've been drinking from them.
At
your bookstore, the Visitor Center. This is not an indictment against the bookstore, the Visitor Center. I'm just saying that it's not. It doesn't say anywhere on it, and I can't get I can't find the manufacturer's name to look it up.
Not discussed this.
With them. And there's no sign over by them, so I figured, and it's with like drinking mugs, so I figure it's okay. And then we put one in the dishwasher, right, Cindy? And it came out like all like weird.
Oh no!
Like it looked like mold, like white mold, but it wasn't mold.
It was the stuff coming off.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aww.
So I probably have some kind of terminal disease now because of this.
Is that supposed to be like a Civil War tin cup or something?
I don't know. It reminds me of like a pirate's
tankard.
He's a pirate.
Yeah.
Yar. And of course, I was reading Treasure Island, and so I was in the mood for pirate stuff. Okay, so let's see here. Do you want to hear a listener email? I have 2 really nice ones. Now one.
Then let's read the really nice ones.
Well, hold on. I only have one of them with me. The other one I haven't asked permission yet if I could read, but I got it the other day.
Oh.
However, there's this one here from a Brad. I won't say the last name because I also forgot to ask him. But it's Brad. There's a million Brads out there. He says, perhaps this isn't the right contact/channel to share an observation. If not, my apologies. It doesn't matter how you get the message across as long as you get the message across. It seems to me that the podcasts are historic in this sense. Now we're talking about podcasts. What Frazanito did for Gettysburg photography, the podcasts are doing the same for the comprehension of the battle. The photographs have, in a manner of speaking, a voice that over time, for whatever reason, was obscured, misunderstood, which Frazanito restored to the original. The podcasts let those who are profoundly intimate with the micro-dimension of the battle speak in their own voice and not as a representative of this or that institution/organization. The listener is introduced to aspects, perspectives, and data that cannot help but enrich their understanding. Well done, Brad. Thank you, Brad. I agree.
I think it's cool he used the word micro-dimensional.
I know.
In a sentence.
I know.
That was Brad, 10 life points.
Still don't know what the hell it means, but I'm glad he used it. This other one's very long, and I keep saying that I'm going to read it and cut it down.
You keep
because it's
teasing me with it and then put it away.
And it's nothing against him for writing it. It's beautiful, but it's very long. The audience doesn't want to hear that.
Does he mention me?
Yes.
No,
he says, because this wasn't even, you weren't even on. But you were just filling in for Veronica when he wrote this. This is from several months ago.
And he said Bethany is amazing.
Basically, let's see. So the backstory is that his mom was sick and, it was a long time and he was helping out with her, taking care of her, something like that. He had to do a lot of driving. And then, just stuff with hospice that made it really bad and all this. It was really, really tough couple of years that he had to go through. And he says here, so he goes through the whole backstory and then he says, so what does this have to do with you in addressing Gettysburg? When everything was shut down and my only responsibility was reaching out to certain clients once a week to check in on them, which I could do in one day of the week, I was looking for things to do. My mom could only enjoy a few things. The Amish make a red velvet cake at the Bird in Hand Bakery, which my mom loved for years. So I would drive from Long Island, New York to Bird in Hand and back in one day to get her cake. Don't. To get her cake. Plus, I love driving, so I don't mind. The second time, I said, I'm going to go to Gettysburg for the day when the park is back open. I had not been back in a while due to taking care of my mom, school, and work. I fell back in love. I went like 6 more times through that period. I would go by myself and just wander the battlefield. I loved it. I felt connected. I love podcasts. And I was like, there's got to be a show that I can listen to about this. I found your podcast, and I love it, and would listen to the free feed. When my mom died, I took 3 months off from work on a mental health disability because I am still depressed. I don't know if you were ever a caregiver, but it's but it becomes like your whole world, and everything you do is planned around that person. That when she passed away, a huge hole was left in my life. I bet that's on top of the grieving, he says. I bet that's
horrible.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've been there, bud. It's horrible.
So during the break from work, I listened to all of the episodes on the free feed and loved it so much I became a patron, and I'm going through that content too. I was listening to the last few live videos of the drives and you talking about being exhausted, and I just wanted to send you an example of how important what you do is, so that you can keep the motivation going. And just wanted to share my story with how I got connected with the podcast and the community you're building, and just wanted to say thank you. Have a good one. See you in the chat. Good luck with the move. P.S. As a younger listener, I have been trying to think of some ideas to grow your audience with younger people, and you're a lost cause. That's from Josh McDowell. No, he didn't say I'm a lost cause. He says, if I ever come up with anything good, I'll email it to you. But basically, I'm a lost cause. So anyway, that was very nice of him. And
Josh,
I've been sitting on that.
Was wonderful.
Yeah, I've been sitting on that for months. And thank you very much for that, Josh. And I'm sorry about your mom, of course. And but I'm glad we were there for you. And you know what? I got to tell you, Eric and Bethany, there's I hear from a lot of people that during the lockdowns, that's when they found us. And that's and they say a lot of real superlative thing. Oh, you meant the world to me, or oh, you saved my life, during the lockdown. And I know they're being hyperbolic, but they're engaging in hyperbole. But that it still makes you feel good, right?
Definitely.
Of course.
I wasn't even involved then, and that made me feel good. So.
I know. Well, you are a part of an institution that is healing people right and left. Let's see. We got a call for Eric here. I guess Mitchell's not calling back to complain about Santa Claus. Let's see. Billy, you're on the air.
Hey, Matt. What's up?
Not much. What's up with you?
Same old. Happy New Year.
Oh, Billy, this is our buddy Grant down in Australia. Using a fake name. It's Little Germany again. Hey, Happy New Year to you as well, Grant.
Thank you. Well, I've got to keep you on your toes, Matt.
Yes, and you do a great job at that. Do you actually want to talk to Eric about the museum, or are you just keeping me on my toes?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I just want to thank Eric for what he did for the show, firstly.
Yes, me too.
I love the show. It's gone to a bigger level, better level since the move, and so that's great. My question for Eric was, what's your proudest item in your museum? What's the thing that you have the most love for, the most thing you're excited about?
Well, there's so many neat things, and a lot of times I tell people it's what I'm working on at that moment, but if I have to pick out a favorite, I get asked this a lot. It's the items that my ancestors picked up after the Battle of Gettysburg. So we have some items that the Peffers of Gettysburg picked up, and including, a Colt Army revolver and, a bugle and some really cool relics. So that's the stuff that got me inspired initially when I was a kid, and that'll always have the number one spot for me.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Very cool. And Matt?
Yeah.
I just wanted to run by a comment you made in one of your driving videos, one of your last ones before the show took a break.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you said that, maybe I misheard, I could be wrong.
Probably.
But you said that you were the greatest American to be in Gettysburg since Lincoln gave his speech.
That's
now,
true.
Is that true? Or
well, I'll tell you, I'm going to amend that because I didn't know Dick Winters lived here. So since Dick Winters, I am the greatest American.
Are we not including Eisenhower in this either?
We're not including Eisenhower. No. I just don't know enough about his presidency to say so. But Dick Winters was after Eisenhower anyway.
What about the Supreme?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't during.
Same time.
Well, same time, really.
So it's a tie.
Yeah.
What, Culp?
What about he's the Supreme Allied Commander.
Yeah, but you know.
He slept under a pink duvet. Okay.
Yeah, but he led the American butt-kicking machine across Europe.
Listen.
I agree.
Colby, I forgot Eisenhower lived here. It was a joke. Okay, I was just trying to self-aggrandize.
Not letting you get away with this, Matt.
It was bullshit because everybody knows that I'm not the greatest American to live here since Lincoln came.
Because I am.
Because Bethany is.
I thought Cam was.
Grant, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead, Mike.
You're in Australia, right?
Yes.
What is your fascination as an Australian with our history up here?
Good question.
Thank you.
Good question. Good question. You've finally got one. I just think, I guess this is from the movies. It's the movies. I'm a big movie guy, and when I was a kid, I would watch a historical movie about America, and I would go and look it up before the internet encyclopedias. But now that the internet, and Australia doesn't have sort of isn't as proud or doesn't celebrate its history like America. It doesn't have as interesting in history.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Well, I mean, come on.
That's what it's all about.
Does Australia have a civil war in its history?
No, but look, you got the man from Snowy River. Okay.
They got Ned Kelly, and that
you got Ned Kelly. You got Quigley Down Under.
Yeah,
Bluey.
And you get Bluey's.
Bluey.
So,
Kid show, yeah, that's a lot.
Would you say, like, I remember seeing this on a Frasier episode one time. I think they were arguing about like which country had the best Civil War, and I think Daphne said the American Civil War. I think Frasier says the British Civil War, and then like Niles says France's Civil War or something. So I get what I'm asking is Grant, what is your favorite historical Civil War to study?
The American one, of course.
Yeah, it's the best one.
It's my favorite too. I'm curious.
You know why? Because it's not because the war itself was so special or fascinating. It's because we let the losers tell the story of the war for the next 150 years. And so then it's like all these mythical creatures that fought the war, when in reality it's just a bunch of lost cause liars that got into the school system for the 15 decades after the war. God's will. Yeah, exactly.
I will say though, I always like seeing like the human experience and like in the extremes. You know what I mean? Like out on the peripheries. Obviously, war.
Right, like really tall people and really short people.
Almost, but as far as the human experience goes, war is obviously out on the peripheries of the extreme edge, right? But what makes that even more extreme is when you have the times and the technology are just they're getting ahead of what people are used to, and there's really only a handful of wars that you can really pinpoint that at and see them trying to figure out how to deal with this new technology in real time. Obviously, one that comes to mind is World War I. That's how you end up in this deadlock trench warfare, and you have these hundreds of thousands of casualties in one single battle. But a very close second to that is the U.S. Civil War. I mean, you can see, it takes almost half the war to get to the part to where they really are figuring out, okay, this is how we need to deal with, the new firepower capabilities and X, Y, or Z. But when you get to Petersburg, you are looking at the precursor to the First World War, and it's still, 50 years before the First World War happens, 60 years before the First World War happens. So I do think technologically, seeing how humans interact with the technological and battlefield advancements is also another very interesting factor into the U.S. Civil War versus like the War of the Roses or something, where you might have the drama between family members in the War of the Roses, but you don't have for the average grunt on the ground, they're not having to deal with rifles that can now shoot astronomically further than they used to be able to.
Did you take an edible again?
No.
That is a valid point.
Hey,
But they also had really good clothes.
Hey.
The clothes in the English Civil War.
No.
Oh.
The American Civil War.
Oh. We had the best.
We had the best clothes for
yeah.
our Civil War, and so therefore people like wearing them and reenacting.
Grant, I have an Australia question for you. Can I ask you a question? This is Eric. So in my circles of collectors and museum curators, there's been some Australian news lately, and that is, several years ago you guys banned guns. And it's illegal to have guns there to some degree. But recently, it's and I keep getting mixed reports, and I've tried to look online and everything. But there's a law that was passed in Australia making it a crime to sell or possess World War II German memorabilia or artifacts or war trophies. Do you know? Can you share any information about that? Do you know about this?
I've heard about it. I don't know the details, but that's something our country would do. They can't differentiate between the memorabilia. They think if you've got any gear that's not quote unquote the good guys, you're celebrating that. You stand for that and that sort of thing. Even if it's in a museum like yours, they would think, "Oh my God, that's what he represents."
They're celebrating
and
yeah.
So that's why, like, in our history's, like I said, very much like that. There's obviously a lot of negatives, but, America, for all its negatives, at least you aren't afraid to show it, make tourist sites out of it, all of that. But ours, we sort of just shun it. So I think that's where the attitude comes from.
It's so weird to me, and I'll never understand this as long as I live. Human beings are stupid. Human beings are ugly. Human beings are vicious. Human beings are great. Human beings are smart. Human beings are everything. And to talk about or acknowledge that something bad happened, even if it is to have memorabilia from a war and it's the bad guy's memorabilia, that people are so dim-witted that they think that to have a German Luger, let's say, that was used by a member of the SS. It means that you endorse everything that they stood for is so ridiculous to me. And that's the sign to me of a small mind. Because when have you ever known anybody, Eric or Grant or anybody here, Beth, Colby, Debbie, Cindy, have you ever known anyone who will refuse to learn about, like, for example, I know someone who refuses to learn about the Confederates, but this person will learn about everything else regarding the battle and the Civil War and everything else, but will not read a single book about the Army of Northern Virginia in an effort to understand the Battle of Gettysburg, because in my mind, I believe this person thinks they're afraid that they'll be like, oh, maybe they have a point. Even though I know this person would never think that. But it's like I think it's almost like they're afraid if they learn anything, then they're endorsing it. And that's such a silly way to be. Your thoughts, Erik Dorr?
Well, I run into that sometimes because we do have some German World War II items in our museum. We have some very in-your-face German items. We have, the Deutschland, our Wachstand that you saw at the Nuremberg rallies. That's about as in your face as you can get. And it's very triggering for certain people. And, the way the museum's laid out, most of those German items are in the third room. So we'll have people going through and they're seeing the Civil War stuff and they're seeing George Washington items and all this stuff. And I watch them in the cameras sometimes. When they come through the door, I can almost tell who's going to be triggered.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, they get to that third room and they just like fly out the door. They don't say a word. They're so traumatized by it that they just have to go outside and maybe breathe into a paper bag or something. But it's crazy to me, because
history is supposed to be triggering.
Right.
Yeah.
We are supposed to learn from it. That is the whole point of studying. That is the whole point of looking at it.
Yeah.
We are supposed to feel something from it.
And
if
Grant,
you don't feel anything, what's the point?
Grant, it used to be too, like you said that, Americans will share the ugly, part of their history and everything. We seem to not have a problem with doing it. I don't know if that's true anymore, but it used to be that we would do that. And I think the attitude used to be and is no longer alive in this country, but it used to be, yeah, this is how bad it was. Look how far we've come. Mm-hmm. We have gone past it. We've evolved. We've evolved. We've made it better. Mm-hmm. Whereas European countries, and I kind of, even though you're not on the European continent, I consider Australia to be basically a European country in attitude and everything else. Well, in government style geography and all that other stuff.
That's insulting.
Yeah, well,
tell them, Grant.
Well, maybe you should start changing your ways down there because you're just like a goddamn European country. But my point is that
we love you, Grant.
We love you, Grant. Your government's silly. So here's the thing.
I love all of you except Matt.
The truth teller is always the one who's hated.
Oh, good Lord.
Anyway, my point is, well, I forgot my point.
Well, when you find one, let us know.
Yeah.
I will say this.
He has a point, but if he wears a hat, nobody sees it.
Playing into what you were saying earlier, Matt, about the guy that didn't want to learn about the Confederate side, how else are you going to know how great the struggle was? And like the giants they fought.
That's why I always say, right? What good is Batman without the Joker? Like if you don't know what the enemy was, what the struggle was, what the obstacle to overcome was, then the victory of the Union Army of the Allies in World War II is worthless.
Yeah, because
you have to know what they did.
You have to know the stature of the enemy.
Yes.
And knowing what they were fighting. Knowing what they were fighting for, but it goes beyond that. Knowing their strategy, knowing their knowing their tactical motivations on the battlefield, why they're making certain decisions over others, and how those decisions played out in previous engagements, and how the side that you're, I guess, historically rooting for overcame that is part of realizing. It's part of seeing the whole historical picture accurately.
Right.
I just think it's fascinating that we're not the only country dealing with this.
No, it's a poison that's ruined the whole Western civilization, this way of thinking.
Well, in my circles, like, the whole banning of the German symbols and the war trophies that were brought back by, I assume in Australia, by Australian soldiers that fought along with the Allies. They brought German flags, they brought German helmets back. But the whole thought of banning it and making it a crime to own or sell it or traffic in it, for military antique dealers, is a little terrifying among some of the people who are in those circles, because we're afraid that it's going to spread. Oh, Australia did it. Wow, that's a great idea. England, why don't we do it? Or, it's technically, you're not supposed to do it in Germany, Austria, or France, but you can't display it, but you can sell it. You can have it. You just have to cover the symbol up. Like if you go into a military antique shop in Germany, they'll have some of that stuff out, but they'll put like magnets on SS helmet decals, so the SS symbol is covered. And in museums, you can have it out because that's an educational venue. But the thought that, okay, Australia took that incredibly, in my opinion, crazy step to actually make it a crime that may spread among other countries, and I'm sure it'll get to America last, but the way things are going, who knows?
Well, it's always in Europe and Australia first. And then it goes to California, and then it spreads through the country. That's the way the cancer grows.
And if they can't do it because of our First Amendment, what could happen is, platforms like Google or
that's how they do it.
Yeah, they'll or like Bank of America won't process a credit card from a military antique dealer anymore.
Yeah, they don't have to actually
kind of like
repeal,
they did with the gun dealers.
Exactly, they don't have to repeal any amendments.
Right.
No, I think it's sad and it's scary. But as long as we're allowed to, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to be afraid to talk about history
Matt,
with all
I
its
have one
blemishes.
last question.
Go ahead, Grant. One more insult, I'm sure, right? No, I'm just teasing you, Grant. I love it. You're very funny.
I've asked you this question before a while ago, but I think this is a good opportunity considering your guest. Who's your favorite Gettysburg-related Eric? Is it Erik Dorr, your savior, or is it Eric, former producer?
Oh, that's tough.
The flip-flop guy, or Eric from the other show, the Licensed Battlefield Guide. Who would you pick?
The Blade. Okay. Well, the funniest is the Blade. For sure. But that's not what you're asking. It would have to be. I'm sorry. It would have to be Erik Dorr.
Wow.
Because now Erik, the producer, was essential to the growth of this show. Without him, I would not have gotten where I am today. Absolutely, hands down, 100% true. Erik was vital. But Erik abandoned me for his own personal joy and happiness, and that's not right. So,
can't blame him for that.
So it knocked him down a peg. But within a year of Erik's abandonment, actually, it was prior to Erik's abandonment, this Erik came along and said, and Erik, of course, I'm not saying he really abandoned me. He has a life. But this Erik came along and said, hey, I'm buying this building. I'd like to give you studio space. And I said, well, okay, how much do you want for it? And he's just like, can you just give me a back rub? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. You sore? And no, so just, work with me, promote the museum, things like that. And I was like, okay,
upper or lower.
So, it does absolutely have to be Erik Dorr. I owe the fact that I'm able to make a living is because Erik has let us use the space.
Do people know about your old alias?
No, I don't. I don't talk.
Criminal alias?
No, I don't. Yes, my criminal alias.
Dude, Taylor and I watched it and we're like, is that his real name?
So the
what?
The rumors are true?
Dirk Diggler.
No.
No, the reason I said that was, I set up Matt with a interview tomorrow with a big time news agency because I'm not going to be around. So he's going to do an interview in my place. So I shared his contact with our manager. And she's like, what is up with that name?
Wait, why did you? That's such an old name. You don't have my. Oh, because you're on your. Because you have me in the phone as that.
Yeah, that's how long I've known you. When there was actually a hit out on you from Burrovent, you had to change your name for a while. And so that's when I first met you, like 10, 15, however, I don't even know.
Yeah, it was like 15.
It was a long time ago. And he was going by an alias, and I still have that in my
Erik, you still friends with him after that long time?
I wasn't going by an alias. I had another podcast that I used a different name just for the fun of it.
But it's a pretty funny name. And so I had to, because I'm not going to be here tomorrow. At the time, I had to have it coordinated by our manager, and I just sent her your contact so in case she had to get a hold of you when this guy comes or whatever. And she's like, what is up with that?
So is she going to forward the actual contact along to the report, and then it's going to say that name?
No way. I'm going to send the reporter an email with you, and I already gave him your real name.
Okay,
so,
good.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm not associated with this.
Matt sent me a clip of that old podcast, and this is back when I first moved here, and I'm watching it with Taylor.
No, I don't think I did because I don't. It's not online anymore.
No, but you sent me one It's been almost 2 years now, and I remember this vividly. It was I think it was in black and white. But anyways, you sent me this clip of the old podcast.
Oh, me on the horse?
No, it was a podcast show, and I'm watching it because you wanted to show me we had been talking about your old show. I don't remember why you sent it to me, but you sent it to me as like a joke. And in the intro, it says the alias. And Taylor and I both looked at each other and went, "Is that his real name? Is Matt Calorie not his real name?"
Yeah, Matt Calorie's gonna be the fake name.
Hey, Matt. Sorry.
Yeah, Grant, go ahead.
I've got to go, but we've got to hear the story about you and a horse sometime.
Well, no, I did a promo where I was riding a horse.
Oh, is that what you call it? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I was dyslexic when I said promo. All right. Little Germany, Thank you very much for the call. It's always great to talk to you. Does it cost you a lot to call internationally, or did you find a way to do it for free? All right. We'll talk to you later. All right.
Peace, dude.
6 questions, Lentz is the next person on the air here. 6 questions, Lentz. Go ahead. He's asleep. I think I hear him snoring. 6 questions. Mike, are you there?
Hey, good evening.
Oh, there he is. He's awake. Okay, good.
I know. Hey, I was just following instructions. The lady on the phone here said, wait for Matt to call on you.
I
didn't hear you calling me.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. You gotta wait a little bit on the calling there. Okay, Eric, I have a question for you. Due to the size of your museum, do you accommodate school groups? And if so, which size or what size of groups would be best suited for that museum?
You know, Mike, I'm glad you listened to the lady on the phone, the computer voice on the phone, but you don't listen to the show because I asked that exact question at the end of the interview.
Oh.
So just to recap,
Matt.
Basically,
Matt, I'm just following your lead.
There's one absent-minded person. That's enough. You're the smart one, Mike. You're supposed to be paying attention.
Oh my God.
We take groups in small amounts. So you usually divide them up into, like if it's a 40-person group, it'll have either, half of them come in, half of them will go to Ron Palm's museum or the Shriver House or somewhere else during that time, and then the other half will come in, just so they can have a better experience. Because if you have 40 people come in at once, it gets a little crowded in there.
Okay, Mike.
Well, thank you. That's the only question I had, and apparently it was redundant. But hey, we got it confirmed again.
You know what? You just reminded people. That's all. Okay, that's all. Don't feel bad.
Exactly.
Hey, Mike, Happy New Year.
Have a great night, guys.
Yeah, and we hope to see you soon, okay? We miss you. All right. Bye-bye. Sorry, I just hung up on him. All right, let's see. We got a couple of comments here that I wanted to share. I'm sorry. Did I belch?
Yeah.
Did I allow that? I did?
Yeah.
Oh. I stifled it, I thought.
You.
Did I let it go?
No, you didn't let it go.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I should have done that, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Forgive me, folks. I didn't mean to do that. I thought I was at home.
Emily Post.
All right, let's see. I don't know.
Rolling over in her grave.
All right, what? All right, let's see. So Josh McDowell was watching, and he said, I wrote that a few months back, but it still holds true. Thanks to Matt for everything you continue to do. Cheers and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Marie asked if I got your Christmas card. Did we get a Christmas card from Marie, Cindy? No, I don't think. Did you? Oh, maybe if you sent it here, I haven't looked. So maybe it's in the mailbox. I don't know, Marie, but I'll look around and see. And thank you anyway, whether I find it or not. Thank you very much for it. And let's see. Oh, and then he says, "Oh, and Bethany," but he does "Oh, and Bethany" in all caps. That's Josh McDowell right there.
Thank you, Josh.
Okay, let's see. Anything else there? I'm looking for something from Eric here. The Battle of the Erics this Sunday at Devil's Den. That's funny. Preach it, Matt. Narrow-mindedness and false assumptions tend to breed the emotional reaction of childish behavior. Thank you, Jacob. You are correct. We have made drastic studies in the spirit of brotherhood. Oh, drastic strides. Man, I need to get glasses. In the spirit of brotherhood and peace. We absolutely have. And that's what really bugs me when I listen to these young idiots in schools today. They have no idea what previous generations have done to allow them to be as stupid as they are.
Ask a 7th grade class if they would vote for women's suffrage.
I'm talking about 20-somethings, but yes. Okay, why? Go into this. What do you?
Because when I was teaching, I would do that.
And then they would say, "Why would you want a woman to suffer?"
I'm absolutely not. I would not vote for that. And then I'm like,
because they think it means suffering.
Yeah, because they have no idea.
I know what it means. I still wouldn't vote for it. No, I'm just teasing.
And we're done.
No, we're not done. We've got more insults coming your way. All right, let's see. Peter, Eric, what would be the style of museum that appeals to you when visiting? What do you like to go visit? What kind of museums do you like to go see?
In Gettysburg? Or
no, anywhere you go. Anywhere you go. You go to see a museum. What kind? What's your favorite type?
Well, I touched on the D-Day Experience Museum in Normandy. That's amazing. Because they have all authentic stuff, and it's really well laid out, and they have a virtual, or they have almost like a Disney ride where you're in a C-47 and you're flying over the channel, and you get to see all those ships down there, and just an amazing museum and some of the best collections in Europe, in my opinion. So,
wait.
Lots of people, Eric, want to meet.
Oh, yeah, and the Children of Gettysburg, 1863.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I love children's museums.
Thank you.
And then there are a few people who have mentioned in here that they apparently want to meet us when they come out. And everybody's coming in April, it seems.
April, guys.
Matt Arleth is coming in April, and I saw somebody else I thought was coming in April, or maybe that was an email I got. So, Eric, there you go. All right. So
be prepared. April's bus season.
Yes.
School buses. We get over 140 a day.
Oh man, I'll tell you what.
Better than Bike Week.
That.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Well,
it's better than Bike.
It is better than Bike Week around town. You're right. But
anything's better than Bike Week.
When we had the shed, when the studio was down in the shed,
I can
that
only
was
imagine.
a nightmare.
Did you see they moved the shed?
Yes. I think it's a better spot, frankly.
It is 100% a better spot.
Absolutely a better spot. And
Where'd
the
they move
buses
it to?
just the other side of the parking lot.
So it's not next to the bathrooms.
Yeah, and there's the grass that they can stage. It's just a much better spot. I think they should have been there from the beginning, but it's better late than never. That's what I always say. Better late than never, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what time it is, Madge? I called you Madge. I don't even know what that is. Guess what time it is, Bethany? Majba. That's not even a nickname for a full name. Majba. Guess what time it is, Majba? Ready?
And now, all the news that's fit to print and a good deal that's not. Here's AG Today's lead anchor, Bethany England, with current events and sidewalk conditions.
New Year's means babies being born and babies being made. First baby of 2024 born in Adams County. Thaddeus Stevens' wig was snatched right off his head New Year's Eve. Only in the apple capital of the world does a delivery truck bring out emergency management for too much acidity. Our first snowstorm of the season, plus all this and more on today's news for January 4th, 2024.
Hey, I have to say, dude, you did pretty good at
that was very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. You're gonna nail that. I'll send you. I keep forgetting to do it, but I'll send you the music so you can practice in the car. Bethany's News is brought to you by the Andrew Carnegie Free Library in Carnegie, Pennsylvania. And they are thrilled to announce the return of their annual Civil War Symposium on April 13th, 2024. Riding a Raid, Paradigms and Personalities of Civil War Raids will feature five dynamic historians, including Matt Atkinson, Eric Wittenberg, Abby Smith-Meyer, Rob Orison. I almost said Roy Orbison. Rob. Well, yeah, I would too, because he's dead, so that would be interesting to see Roy Orbison there. And Phil Greenwald. Tickets are only $65 and include lunch, raffles, book sales, and tours of the National Treasure, Captain Thomas S.B. Grand, Army of the Republic Post. I've told you, I've been there before, and it is a beautiful place. You should go check it out when you can. The symposium does sell out every year, and limited seats remain, so don't wait. I should have corrected that last time. Don't wait to reserve your seat. For more information and to purchase tickets, please visit their website, www.carnegie.org. Go ahead, Bethany. What's exciting in the news today?
Well, we had our first... I can't even handle you right now. Our first baby was born for Adams County.
Oh, welcome to the
world. For the new
world.
year.
Beautiful. That is great.
Jackson Felter was born at 1:32 a.m. Tuesday, January 2nd.
Well,
we had to wait till January 2nd to have our first baby.
Here's a little song for Jackson. Right, welcome to my world. Keep going. I'll sing in the background.
He weighed 6 pounds, 3 ounces, and measured 18.5 inches in length. They're all doing well.
Miracles, I guess.
As Colby brought up earlier in the episode, the Adams County Society Prevention for Cruelty to Animals, or the SPCA, they found their kennels empty. We went and actually dropped off items from work. We donated a bunch of items.
We call them pets, not items.
Yeah, items.
Items meaning like collars.
Oh, that was nice of you.
Stuff like that. And they've
adopted every animal?
Every animal. They had 0 cats, and they had 1 dog left. And it was a cute little Shih Tzu.
Watch your mouth. Wait.
However you pronounce that. And super cute. And we got our pictures taken with it. Super cute. And then it was left later that week, and they were empty.
That is fantastic. That is great. Is that odd that they would be
It's the
without?
first time in 40 years.
40 years. Wow. Well, good for them. Real quick, Cindy, if you don't mind, could you go down to the mailbox and see if there's a Christmas card in there for Marie? She said that she sent it here. Thank you, dear.
Do you even know where the mailbox is?
Yeah, it's right outside the door on the wall. Right out. You'll see it. Just look to your right when you open the door.
Okay,
go ahead.
So this year for New Year's, I wanted to point this out because we had different items instead of fireworks that happened for the New Year's.
Yeah.
We had a dance party instead of fireworks, but the piece de resistance, if you
German.
guys can come and see this next year, they're going to do it every year. The Thaddeus Stevens Society, this gives me so much life, did a what I call a wig snatching from the Thaddeus Stevens statue in front of the courthouse. And if you look online, there are pictures. The head gentleman, whose name I can never
Ross
remember.
Hetrick.
Ross Hetrick.
I have Ross right here and what he thinks about us.
You guys suck. You're assholes.
I don't think that's what he said. But anyway, he has a what do you call this?
Valerie put up with
fishing reel that he uses, and
You can do it.
And
Keep going.
halfway through the whole thing, it counts down, and he pulled the wig off the Thaddeus Stevens statue.
So does he like whip it off or does he
it
reel it off?
It was a whip situation.
Thank you, my love.
Oh, there is
Okay.
the card.
There you go.
But anyway, they're going to do this next year too. They're going to make it an annual thing. And I'm telling you right now, guys, if you get a chance, go do it. Because one, support things that are awesome like that.
Sure.
Two, that's the best idea I've seen in a
You know what? I do too. And
freaking time.
It's in line with what Gettysburg's actually all about.
Yeah, what we're all about.
All right.
Oh, good Lord.
I hold here in my hand the... Oh, wait. Sis Boom Ba. Somebody do Ed McMahon. Sis Boom Ba. Repeat it.
Sis
Anybody
Boom
know it?
Ba.
Yeah. Name the sound a sheep makes right before it explodes.
I am so hungry. We got to get through this.
I know.
Come on.
And I want to bring something up about... Well, can I read Marie's card on the air here? Joyeux Narwhal. Matt, Cindy, and the AG crew, wishing you all the merriest Christmas and a happy, healthy, and blessed 2024. Your friends Marie and Chad Bingaman. Thank you very much, Marie. Where am I looking? There you go. Thank you very much for the card. This is I guess this is a narwhal, right?
It is a narwhal.
Okay.
Yeah, it is
and
a
that
narwhal.
is from Rudolph.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's from Elf.
Elf.
There's also one in Elf.
Okay. Right. And well, very good. I love it. And it's 3D. It's got all the different layers there. So thank you very much, Marie, for that. I hope you guys had a great Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So go ahead, Bethany. I don't want to hold you up anymore.
That's okay. Also, they officially announced, this is the official headline, Pickett's Revenge lives on. She's so bad. Jamie, a shout out to Jamie Umstad because I had a crazy day at work, so she found the news items for me.
Very
today.
nice.
So she literally says, Pickett's Revenge lives on. These are my words.
So is Jamie like the news department's intern?
Yes.
All right. And
Also,
and she's also the sidewalk
yes, so she
conditions
sent
reporter.
me, she could not call in. She said, I can't call in.
Okay.
Because I have a family thing going on.
Oh, that's a handmade card that she sent in. That's very sweet of you. Look at that.
Well done, ma'am.
Thank you.
So she said,
Should I tell her that she spelled joyous wrong?
No.
She spelled it E-U-X. Joyeux. You think maybe she's got
Maybe
some...
you're just ridiculous. It says,
What?
By the way, the sidewalk conditions are excellent at the Hanover Target tonight.
Oh, okay. So she's remote. She's on location.
She's on location, and the sidewalk conditions are excellent.
Okay, fantastic. Good
Yes.
to know. Okay, go ahead.
The Pickett's Buffet, as we all know, is no longer there and is moving out to the former Boyd's Bear Country barn site.
Yes, I find this interesting. Yes,
down on Steinway Avenue.
Sure it is.
But they have officially announced that they are planning on opening this spring, and they actually put out a call for staff. So if you'd like to work at the new General Pickett's Buffet, that's not what it's going to be called.
I want to know who's going to eat there when I don't.
Oh, Cindy, don't we have someone booked from there on?
They're not booked yet. It's sometime in January.
What'd you say?
They're not booked yet. Sometime in January.
So the Farmhouse
But
Restaurant.
soon we will be having someone representing that new enterprise down there.
So
Thank
it's
you
the
very much,
Farmhouse
Cynthia.
Restaurant, which is the first piece of the barn resort that will open to the public, and it is slated to make its debut in spring of 2024.
Oh, so soon.
There's also the new Cellar 75 Hotel Bar, which will be opening its doors.
Where's that?
It's going to be
out there.
Yeah.
Wait, hotel bar, but is there a hotel there?
There will be.
Get out of here. Wow. It's a resort.
I mean, they have the parking.
I know.
for it.
I know you were speaking.
Cindy's getting all worked up in here about this.
I know
I
you were-
told you about this. You never listened to me.
I know you were speaking, but
The new Farmhouse Restaurant is going to be open Mondays through Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Sundays 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
where's that?
That's the restaurant. Oh my
Just kidding.
dearest God!
I'm just messing with you.
And if you would like to
No, seriously,
apply on,
What are we talking about?
You can apply at the info at the barncellarpa.com.
Where's that located?
At the Barn Cellar.
Where's that?
Over at the place and the thing in the place. Okay, so
Is that where the bar is?
Yes. So I picked this one because I thought it was hilarious. Because only in Adams County, Pennsylvania, would something like this happen.
Yeah.
Apple concentrate spills after crash.
Is this at the bar, too?
Approximately 2,000 gallons of apple concentrate spilled when a tractor trailer toppled Wednesday morning
Sweet.
along Old Carlisle Road.
Get it?
Yeah, right. But they actually spent time calling in the Township Emergency Management.
Yeah, because you know how bad that smelled?
Well, no, actually, they said it wasn't too bad. It had a
Too
slight
odoriferous?
sweet smell, but they called in emergency management because they were concerned about acidity in the soil affecting local wildlife.
Oh God!
Well, I have to tell you, dude. I live out by Nouse, and
I'm so
they have
sick
that
of all
like
this
apple
crap.
runoff in the field. Like they have fields out there that they do like apple runoff, some kind of apple runoff, and that stuff.
Like a race?
I don't know. It's freaking. It
No.
smells terrible though.
So I'm getting this from.
But
the
what is that? Is that
Gettysburg
actual, like the concentrate? Go ahead. Debbie works out there, so she would know.
Who works there tell you.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, what you're smelling with that is not apple concentrate. It is wastewater from the plants that's been used to clean the machinery. So it's going to have bits of apple and things. in it.
All right. So it's not apple concentrate. It's apple
Spraying on
daydream.
the fields, it's intentionally sprayed away from places where it can run off into the water.
Got it. Okay.
That is not what happened here.
That happen
Right. Well, so here, where the spill was, would have smelled sweet and delicious.
Yeah, it
right?
said a sugary smell, but nothing odorous or offensive.
Wow.
No,
I wish I had seen that.
It's like concentrated syrup that gets used.
Right.
In uses.
Yeah.
This is from the Gettysburg Times, and I wanted to read this quote because it cracks me up. Using shovels and bucket-equipped tractor, personnel created a temporary earthen barrier that contained the material, which was creeping at a pace a little faster than molasses would.
So not very fast.
Yeah, not very fast. So that is...
Hurry up, get it.
Get it, hurry.
About
hurry,
as
hurry.
fast-
It's going
The
faster
acid-
than molasses.
The
It's about as
acid is
fast
going
as
to-
Matt runs.
Yeah, right.
So, in addition to this...
Hurry up and chase that thing. It's almost as fast as, or almost as,
forget it.
Yeah, that was awful. In addition to this article, there was a secondary article where they showed the emergency personnel people testing the local cows
I thought you were going to say testing the apple concentrate.
in the area to see if they had been affected by the acidity.
And?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Were they taste testing them? Just, you know,
They're tasting their milk.
Lick, you know?
They're having a little suckle at the udder there.
It's like in Willy Wonka when they do the wall scratching. You know, the snozzberries taste like snozzberries.
Right. Snozzberry? Who's ever heard of a snozzberry?
So is news going to go into events, or are we going to do a separate
It's all
event
the
one
same
thing now?
It's just
okay,
current
so
events
the last thing
and
being,
sidewalk conditions.
Really, it's just
Jason
turned
Marks
into a
made
thing
a
if I can
point
see if you can keep
to
going.
come up to me today to mention about this weekend because we are supposed to get our first snowstorm of the season.
Yeah,
8 inches.
Now,
bro.
what is is that what it is?
That's what I heard. 8
I
inches
heard
on
rain.
Saturday.
Oh, So wait, you're hearing 8 inches. She's hearing rain.
Somebody's wrong.
I'm hearing cataclysmic, like 40 feet. Worst thing we've had in like 10 years.
But Jason Martz from the park actually came up to me and said, "Can you announce tonight on the show that they are to definitely pay attention to the website and park Facebook and social media channels because this is the first weekend for
Winter Lectures. And Matt Atkinson is number 1 on Saturday.
Please check before you come out."
Yeah, and on that note, don't forget, look for, if you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, you should be, but you definitely want to be now because it's the only place you're going to be able to find what?
The Winter Lecture series.
Oh, I was going to give you some lead-in.
Oh,
you rushed.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Where's that timing at? You must be hungry.
I'm
starving. It's the only place that you'd be able to find what?
Dun dun dun. Puppies in heat.
The Winter Lecture
2024.
I think Puppies in Heat hit a little harder.
Puppies in Heat. That's so gross.
But also so funny.
It is, though. But real quick, I just saw on the back here, Marie made this. It says, handmade by Marie Bingaman, anothercardmakingblog.blogspot.com. So go and check that out and see what else she has there, ladies and gentlemen. I had no idea we had such a talented audience. I know we have a smart audience.
Yeah.
But talent, I didn't know that it was out there.
Someone says, poor Eric, he's just looking for the exit.
I know. Can you see it, right? And they're
he's picking up other people's notes to read.
Got 1,000-yard stare going on over there.
Wow.
What are these notes? Oh, that's from Joe.
You don't want me to read that?
No, Joe likes to read obscene things or leave obscene things around the studio for me to find when I'm working. Go ahead.
My cousin Heidi is apparently watching the show, and she's making fun of my shirt.
Why?
I don't know, because it's Heidi.
Okay.
Love you. Okay, so events. So we have the Winter Lecture Series. We have on Saturday, which is the 6th, all this is Monument Enough. Sickles and the New York Monument Commission. That's with Matt Atkinson.
Yep.
So that ought to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Matt and Sickles together. Matt and Atkinson together. January 7th. If These Things Could Talk, the Naval Edition with Carlton.
Yeah, there's 2 of those this year. Two.
But there's one that's Army and there's one that's
right.
Navy.
Yeah. Which I don't know. Did they always
Holbrook's
do 2?
Doing the other one? No.
It's
Tom
just
Holbrook
one, right?
did one last year, and then Carlton added the Navy one today. I saw him out in the hallway today sorting through a ton of papers. I don't know if that's what this was all about, but I mean stacks of papers.
Because he did a Navy lecture last year, I think, about Farragut, or maybe it was the year before that.
YMCA pops into my head every time you guys say Navy.
What does?
YMCA.
Oh, the village people?
Yeah, as it should.
Yeah, right.
In the Navy.
All right, go ahead.
If you have any kiddos in your life, the Kids Winter Reading Adventures will also be starting this weekend on Saturday, and that's at 11. So you can come and have a book read to you. And there's doing a craft. She's so excited about the crafts because it's a door hanger to show that you're reading and all your rest of your family should stand.
Like a do not disturb sign?
Yeah.
But it says I'm reading a book.
Is that where the bar is?
No.
What?
Oh my God, I was so confused there for a second. I also want to put on everybody's radar because you can buy tickets for it, but the Dancing with the Local Stars Tournament of Champions is happening next weekend at the Majestic.
Yes, I was. My friend is producing that, and she wanted me to do it. I said, "You are out of your friggin' mind."
Who are the
only person I know is Mark Clowney.
Oh, Mark Clowney. You know Mark?
To George?
Yeah.
I know Mark. Brad Pitt. We used to call him Brad Pitt.
Yeah, he is very handsome.
No, I didn't say that. I said he looked like Brad Pitt.
He is very handsome, though.
So
if he got hit in the face with a shovel. I'm just kidding, Mark. You're very handsome. I'm jealous. Go ahead.
And he has adorable children.
I've never met his family.
Yeah, they used to come to events. Okay.
Why don't they anymore?
We don't run them anymore. Those types of events.
Because they don't want to deal with Bethany.
Yeah, there's that too. And then Cindy just sent me this. One of the events that was happening at the Adams County Historical Society for next weekend, which was on the 11th, they had a talk on the Mason-Dixon line has been canceled. Unfortunately, the speaker, Dr. Edward G. Gray, passed away.
Oh no!
And so he won't
be
able to be there. Just his condolences to his family.
Yeah, for sure.
That they won't be able to do that. So that event for next week at the Historical Society.
Speaking of passing away, you know who died? His name escapes me now. He's the actor who played Cornwallis in The Patriot, and he played Ben Franklin in John Adams. He was in Valkyrie. He played one of the generals.
The older guy.
Yeah,
in Braveheart. The older guy in Braveheart.
No.
Cornwallis is the king, the British king.
No, Cornwallis was the general in what's that movie I just said? The Patriot.
Oh, well, you said Braveheart a second ago.
Oh, I did, because Mel Gibson. No, The Patriot.
Heidi's continuing to make fun of me, but she also wants you to know that joyous
Tom
with an
Wilkinson
X is the French form of joyous.
Okay, thank you, Heidi. Which is the Dutch form of Henry. I know joyeux is joy. It's a joke. I'm playing dumb. Oh, you just don't have
you
just don't have
like that.
I'm really good at it.
Often that people aren't sure if you're being true or
Listen,
not.
You don't have enough phlegm in your throat to be able to be on board the French train.
It's true. I had a roommate in college who spoke fluent French, and it always sounded like he had just taken a bite out of a very oily piece of pizza with extra cheese and was talking with that all in his mouth. And it made me sick. I can't stand hearing French.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, that's all I've got.
That's all you got. All right. Well, listen, here's an idea that I had, because one thing that we started after the new year was the keto diet. And so far, so good. How about you, Cindy? How
Are
you
you going to make me go
doing?
somewhere healthy for dinner tonight? Because I'm going to be really,
will you hear
fat.
me out? You could be eating by now, but you just distracted me for 2 seconds there. What if we all brought we'll save us money too. For the show, we bring our dinners here, like a little Tupperware bin, and sit there and eat, and we can sit and talk, and then, save some money. And then
somebody's going to have to bring mine, because I don't cook.
Well, and I don't get a chance to go home and make it before.
Yeah, I come directly from work.
Well, you got to buy it at some point. Either you buy it at the grocery store and make it at home, or you buy it on the way here.
I need food.
Dude, most times.
All right, never mind.
Most times I'm sprinting from my studio to here because I have almost overworked.
I'm going home. Forget it. Try to do one nice thing for everybody.
Dude, just go out and get a burger without any bun.
You know what would also save me money if you bought my food for me.
It would save you a lot of money.
Get him.
Listen, well, you know what? We will do that.
Eric
once
thinks
people.
I'm right.
No, that's true.
He's smiling. He's trying to be nice because he knows
and
I'm right.
I agree with him. So
he's looking for the exit. He's just.
So we're gonna need to do this every time we do a show. We're gonna need to get at least $60 in super likes, and then that will buy your dinner. How's that sound?
Okay, Grant, come on.
Not that you only
Grant,
spend
let's
money
go.
on.
$60 in super likes, Grant.
Instead of super likes, just call it Bethany's dinner.
Brian Hike says he's down 66 pounds since September. Keto, FTW.
For the win, I'm taking it.
I think that means F the world. It means the world.
I like mine better.
I don't know what it means. Brian, also thank you in September for your Christmas card that we did get.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. All right. I guess we're going out to dinner tonight. It doesn't matter where we go. We can find something that is satisfactory for the keto diet.
Zuma's.
No, I can't do that. Not this early.
How rude.
Yeah,
no, we could do it. I don't have to get. I could just get all the meat and vegetables.
What are they? What are the things called they bring out in the skillet pan?
Fajitas. Yeah, I just don't have to have the tortilla.
Exactly. It'll be delicious.
Yeah. I was thinking of salad, but okay.
But he eats like 17 bags of chips. Like they literally have to import the chips in.
I can't resist the chips this early yet.
Yeah,
Can we go somewhere else? I can't resist the chips.
Their salsa's good, dude.
When he comes in, you see everybody in the kitchen go, get out more chips. Stat, we need more chips.
Yeah.
Bring out the stale ones. He'll eat them anyway.
Chips and salsa all day. If it sat in front of me, I could eat it all day.
They just put it under a heat lamp. I don't care if it's stale. I'll think it's real. Fresh. Can we go somewhere other than that? Like Taverna or, anywhere. It doesn't matter. Anywhere.
I don't care. I honestly don't care.
Like if we went to La Bella, I could get salmon.
Should we go to the ski resort again?
Or we could go out there or go to Taverna or something and I can get salad we can go.
Debbie's going to have to
I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to make you cater to my stupid whims and decisions.
Because I'm suddenly going to try to become vegan.
To your whims.
See, all I can think about
I'm
is
going to
food.
become vegan.
Huh?
I'm going to become vegan.
Yeah, well, you can't hang out with us anymore.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
What?
I can't even handle you anymore.
No, you
I'm
can be vegan all you want. Just don't tell me that I have to be vegan.
Well, then don't tell me I got to do keto. I want chips.
I'm not saying you have to do keto. I'm saying, can we not
a
for
water.
this first? Well, because our water crew hasn't come and refilled us. Anyway, we got to get going. So we'll figure something out. But I'm not saying that you have to go keto. I'm just saying, for this week, since it's our first week, I can't resist those chips and that salsa. I can't.
Okay.
And I'm gonna. I am too weak at this point.
I will let you do whatever you want. But my stomach is literally not.
Next week, we'll be able to go to
lining.
Zooms. I just have to get through the urge to eat carbs.
I could be eating
and
right
sugar.
I could be eating right
then
now.
the keto flu, and then I'll
Again,
be
I could be
fine.
eating
I'll
right
be
now.
fine. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for all of your love. Eric, thank you for coming in. Thanks you for showing us all that stuff there from Dick Winters and everything. Thanks all of you for watching, and we will talk to you next week. Happy 2024.
AG Today's opening theme is written and performed by Colin Southfield and the Mushroom Company Band. Bumper music is arranged and performed by Billy Webster and sometimes Kevin MacLeod. AG Today is produced by Matt Callery, Bethany Yingling, Debbie Jones, and Cindy Compton. Engineered by Colby Sumner and maybe sometimes someone else. Guest accommodations are provided by the guests themselves. We'll need a couple thousand patrons to be able to put people up in hotels. Speaking of patrons, maybe you'd like to become one. You'll find plenty of perks over there, not to mention hundreds of episodes that will help you further your Gettysburg and Civil War education. So go to patreon.com/addressing Gettysburg. Yes, sir. I'm Huevos Grande, the voice of Addressing Gettysburg. Thanks for listening.
There is no time. I have told you there is no time for that. There is no time.
It's Gettysburg. Goddamn Dexter.
Yeah, you forgot. My truck's there sitting.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Yeah, hypothesis. Chattanooga.